of Texas, but it's time to forego the 40 acres and chase his dream in the cheese. Pimping ain't easy, but for him it's a breeze. Mike Hardball Harge, ladies and gentlemen. What's going on, my man?
What it do, what it do? Your boy is back and the gang is back together. Let me just tell you, I had a lot of fun, but, there's a lot that I need to share with the people, and I'll do that in the Hard Knocks life because I do not wish that kind of stuff on anyone. But he hails from H-Town with the Get Down. He's a lifetime Longhorn and a proud card-carrying member of DBU. Legendary lifetime and now College Football Hall of Fame Longhorn Derek Johnson said he was the best cover corner he had ever seen. He's a former NFL DB that still has that passion for film study, but he's not a fan of white condiments. But he is a fan of you, the listeners. He is my man and yours, Rod Babus.
I appreciate the intro as always. Glad to have you back, man. I can't wait to hear all the tales of your journey because it sounds like there was a lot going on. Planes, trains, and automobiles stuff going on there. Let's not waste any time introducing the real MVP. He's one of the hardest working members of the ARN family. He's got a hustler spirit, period. We don't know what he's paid. We do know he's underpaid. We also call him the idealionaire, man, Patrick Davis. What's going on, Patrick? How you doing?
Doing good. Getting inching closer and closer to March Madness.
Yes, the madness is upon us, gentlemen. So we've been doing some diving, rabbit holing about Colgate. And Patrick said he was actually going to go find some Colgate film to watch. Go actually watch some games. I ain't gonna lie to you, hard to find them Colgate games, but he found them because that's why he's the real MVP. So we'll talk about that. We'll preview that matchup coming up in the top of the 4 o'clock and the top of the 6 o'clock, and also there's a report from a college basketball insider talking about the status of Rodney Terry and as it relates to his status as the where he is as the candidacy to be the next head coach at the University of Texas. So we'll talk about that too. And we'll get into NCAA tournament breakdown. We'll just throw out random little nuggets. Have you finished your bracket, Harge? I know you got a lot going on.
Yes, I did one last night.
I like how you got a lot going on. You found time to finish that damn bracket.
It was in the process of going through things and sitting. I was like, let me go ahead and finish this because my boys was like, oh, you still alive? And I'm like, yeah, barely, bro, barely.
I'm sure they were asking about who you had in your Final Four. I have not yet finished my bracket. I like to wait. I'm a procrastinator. I wait till the last minute to get stuff done. But I've been really, stacking some notes and nuggets and stats and trends. So we'll talk about all that when we get into NCAA tournament discussion. Top of the 4 and top of the 6 o'clock. We're off early at 6:15 for Texas baseball. Got my man Harge back to talk about Texas baseball. So we'll throw that into the discussion a little bit later on as well. But let's start with your Cowboys, Harge, because we'll get to the stuff they did yesterday because we obviously talked a ton about that. I want to get your thoughts about it, of course. But before we do that, let's talk about the big news today. And you know what? I forgot the most important part of the show. Specs text line 512-337-3776. You, the listener, are the heartbeat of this thing, the pulse of this thing. So hit us up with your thoughts, your concerns, your questions, comments, whatever they may be. Okay. So Clarence Hill, Fort Worth Star-Telegram, give him props. He was the first one, I believe, to put it out there that the Cowboys were going to officially move on from Zeke. He reported that, I think it was earlier today. It might have been around before noon sometime.
Right.
And he threw it out there. And Jane Slater said she tried to find sources to confirm it, but she couldn't find any sources to confirm it. But now it is a done deal. And the Cowboys have decided to cut Zeke. They have designated him as a post-June 1st cut, which means they will save close to $11 million, $10.9 million in salary cap space. Got about $5.8 million in dead money attached to that too, which basically means they're paying money for a player that is not even on their roster. His contract will stay on the books until then, but he's free to sign with a team at any time. That'll be interesting to see what team is interested in Zeke because the running back market right now is, in my opinion, it's oversaturated.
Right.
There's a ton of talent right now in the running back pool. We're talking about the draft, free agency, or even via the trade market. But Harge, I'll say this though, because I talked to a couple of Cowboys fans, and even just gauging your mood walking in could just be because you had a lot going on. Could be because you got a lot going on. But even with the Cowboys fans that I've spoken to about this, about Zeke. Everybody knew this was coming, or it should have been coming. As a matter of fact, a lot of fans would have been upset if the Cowboys didn't cut Zeke.
Right.
Or release Zeke. That would have been, I think, this kind of the blowback from fans if they hadn't done this, because there were talks that they were trying to keep Zeke.
Yep.
And they were going to try to keep him around. Yep. Yeah, and whether you're talking about the price tag or just a wasted roster spot, not wasted necessarily, but my point is you can upgrade there and get someone better at that position than Zeke. That would have been more of a comfort move for the Cowboys. But my point is there's nothing wrong with Cowboys fans being a little sad about Zeke being gone, even though you knew it was happening. It's like a relationship, and everybody's been in this situation where you knew y'all were going to break up probably a month, maybe 2 months before it happened, and you're like, man, this thing is on its way out. You know. You see the clues, you see the signs, you know what's happening. Same thing with Zeke. I think you know what's happening. But still, when it actually does, it's still a little sad about it.
It does.
You still got to go through the process of acceptance and kind of grieving that relationship. Mm-hmm. You can do that. So, Cowboys fans, it's okay. My point is to be a little sad about Zeke, it being a finality now that he is done. He is no longer part of the organization because he's been a part of the fabric and the DNA of the Cowboys for a while now.
Yep.
And so it's okay. It's okay to be sad about it. Even though you knew it was happening and it needed to happen, it's okay to be a little sad for now.
Yeah, I'm definitely a lot sadder than I am happy about this. Like you said, Rod, you sit here and you think about some of the times you've been in a situation, whether it's sports related, whether it's family related, all kinds of different situations we all go through from day to day. And you're just sitting there staring out, knowing that the end is near. Mm-hmm. And for me, I do get the business decision because of financial situation, and we talked about this from the very beginning. He jumped the line. If he didn't jump the line, the market would have been a little bit different. It would have been probably more cap friendly. It wouldn't have been so much money that was given to him right away. So, he still had 4 years, $52 million left on the contract that he signed. Well, we all know that the way that the market is for the running back position, you're not worth that much money anymore. They don't run the ball like they used to. Yes, we have 1,000-yard rushers. I get that, but it's rare, unless you're the Tennessee Titans, where you have a back go for 2,000 yards in a season. So with that being said, yeah, we understand his versatility wasn't what it was, but he does do – we're going to miss him because he did so much more than just run the football. He was a great – blocking back. He would pick up the blitz. He would open holes, and he was a great teammate by all accounts. But financially, there was no way that they could have made the adjustment, right? There was no way that they were going to sit there and say, how do we make this work, and end up paying him even more on the back end of the deal as opposed to cutting him now and letting him go out there and see what it is. My biggest question, and I hadn't, because I've been going through a lot, I haven't went back and looked, are they able to sign him at a lesser price?
Oh, well, I'm sure you could, but I mean, why would you cut ties with him and then you could just restructure them?
Right. But again, that's my point. They couldn't restructure him because at the end of that contract, he would have still got more money. That's what they're doing with Dak. Dak's going to get more money at the end.
They could have told him, we're going to cut you or you can take a pay cut. So they basically could have said, you can take the money off of that contract or lose it altogether.
Yeah.
So if you want to take $2 million or you want to take $3 million, we'll give you $3 million, but you're not getting the 10 no matter what.
Right.
So they could have done that originally.
Yeah, I don't think. But if they cut
him, he's still getting his money.
I think
he's not worth the roster spot.
Yeah, they know they can get a better player there. This is actually. It is about the money, no doubt about it, right? Yeah. Hell, most marriages break up over financial reasons. So that it is about the money. But the underlying issue is Zeke is not the player that he once was, and you can just get a better player there for much cheaper. You can get a better player for much cheaper. I mean, that's a no-brainer. Yep. It goes. So that's why we all knew it was happening, because Zeke has deteriorated. His skills have deteriorated, and nothing against him personally. That's most running backs.
Yeah. That's just the way it breaks down.
There are certain professions where, I mean, you're going to age in dog years. They're going to tell you you're old at the age of 28 or 30. That's a case for strippers. It's a case for rappers are like that too. If you're an old rapper, you get old as a rapper at like 35.
Yeah.
You approaching 40, like, man, you old. You're like, man, what do you mean? I'm like 35. I'm like 35, 40. He's like, nah, man. Drake was talking about retirement recently. Like, yeah, I'm gonna retire. It's like, because he's approaching like mid-30s, I guess. Right? It's one of those, like, it's one of those professions like that. Running backs like that.
Yeah, running back is that position.
You peak at 27. The all-time infamous study now about running backs and their age versus production. And this was a study done a while ago, and about running backs who had at least 75 carries, all right, since 2001. Overall, careers peak at age 27.
Yeah.
After that, their rushing totals drop by 15% by the time they get 28. Their rushing totals drop by 25% by the time they get to be 29, and by 30, drops by 40%. Now, Zeke wasn't even there. Zeke, I think, is just 27 right now.
Yeah.
But we can all see that Zeke started to hit that wall earlier because of the production and because of the usage and the load that the Cowboys threw on to Zeke. Zeke probably had more touches than any other back in the league in his first, 3-4 years?
That's the benefit.
Definitely in that conversation.
That's the benefit of being able to catch passes, but it's also the detriment to you because you were that versatile.
You warm out.
And you were using him so much because he was a very valuable part to the success that the Cowboys were having. Look, I get it. It's the profession that we live in, well, that they live in. You lived in it. So you understood that the move was coming. We all saw it from a mile away. It still does suck for him because now he is going to be moving on somewhere else. And we were talking about this before the show even started. We were talking about, you saw that they cut Emmitt Smith and he went to Arizona. You've seen O.J. Simpson go play for another team. You saw Tony Dorsett go play for another team at the end of their careers. So we knew it was going to happen. I know Jerry's probably in his office right now sipping on that Johnny Walker thinking, Zeke, I tried, man, but Steven told me no. I still love you. So there's going to be some other things that happen. And hopefully, I know Zeke will probably end up somewhere, obviously at a what is it called? The veterans price, where you just get the minimal amount of money that you get. So he'll play somewhere else, but it still will suck that he's no longer a Cowboy. But now, Tony Pollard, do they restructure his contract now because he's on the franchise tag? So do they negotiate with him now and try to get him a 3-year deal, 4-year deal?
I don't think they do.
They're just going to let him play it out right there more time.
I think they're going to let him play it out because you got to see how he comes off the injury because you just made that, I'm not going to say a mistake.
It was.
But with Michael Gallup, you don't, now, right, there's a lot of uncertainty now because of how he came off the injury. I'll just look at how deep the running back market is now.
Yeah.
You look at the draft itself. The draft, not only do you have Bijan and Jahmyr Gibbs at the top, but then you got guys like Kendre Miller, Tajay Spears, Devin Achane, Zach Evans, Tank Bigsby. it's a really, Rojo is 3rd or 4th round pick potentially. You got a really deep running back draft. And now Adam Schefter is reporting Austin Eckler, Derrick Henry. You pointed that out a couple of weeks ago. Derrick Henry wanted to trade.
Yep.
Nick Chubb and Dalvin Cook all are trade bait potentially.
Yep.
If any team is willing to trade for them. And then you look at the free agent market. David Montgomery's now off the free agent market. But then you got Miles Sanders. I'm not sure about it's Kareem Hunt. I'm not sure is he still out there.
I think he's still out there.
He's still out there. Yeah, he is.
Rashad Penny's gone. He's with the Eagles. But Jamal Williams, not sure if he's been picked up or not. Deontay Foreman's still out there.
Yep.
You can pick up Deontay Foreman for pennies.
Yeah, I think
for pennies.
No, I think that's the thing is when you look at it, there's a lot of guys who even if their average is about the same as Zeke's or anything like that, when you get to a playoff game and Tony Pollard goes down, and across every football fan, we all go, oh, well, they don't have a running game anymore. That means you have to get rid of the other running back. Because if we all agreed that without Tony Pollard, the Cowboys had no running game, that meant Zeke had no running game left in him. And by that point in the season, he just didn't have anything left. They knew to load up in the middle. He wasn't going outside at all. And that becomes a point where you go, look, we can't be in a playoff game, and if one running back goes down, our other running back is at a level that we don't think that he can do it anymore. So you just have to move on. I don't know if he'll play in the NFL again just because this is how this league is, that you'd rather have upside than somebody that's on the back end of their career at running back for the most part. But he's had a great career. He can still pass pro. The problem with that is pass protection doesn't work as well as a running back if you can't have the threat of a run. And I think used in a sparing situation, he could end up in the NFL late in a season where they say, all right, we've given you rest, and some team goes through. I mean, there's normally a team that goes through 4 or 5 running backs in a season now in the NFL. Mm-hmm. Someone who does that and goes, hey, man, let's give Zeke a run because he's only going to play 6 games for us, and we think he can hold legs for 6 games. I think that's where he could end up next season.
Yeah, I wouldn't pick Zeke up. I mean, just considering where the value of the running back position is right now, and considering how deep, I just pointed out, the trade market is for running back, free agent market is for running back, and the draft is running back. Now, I'm not saying he won't get picked up. He will. I'm saying if I was a GM, I would not.
No, I don't draft free agents.
He wouldn't even – I wouldn't think about it a second at all. It would not cross my mind. Just from what I've seen and based on the knowledge of what we have and the analytics about where you are at running back, essentially, once you're at 27, 28, man, you're geriatric.
Yeah. Yeah.
You're a geriatric running back. You know what I believe when you're a woman and you have you're pregnant after 35, they call it like a geriatric pregnancy. You're like, what the hell? You're a woman, you go, what the hell is that? That's unfair. That's running back. That's running back. You're like, man, I'm 27. Yeah, man, you're geriatric, though. You might as well be.
Go enjoy your life.
Jurassic Monty, they call them. You might as well be that when you're a running back at 27, 28 in the league. That's how they treat you. So I'm sure we'll get picked up. And I'll say, to me, for the Cowboys, it is cathartic that they go through this process of releasing Zeke. He does, and this is not against Zeke at all. Zeke was a good player. Zeke was a damn good running back.
Yeah, he was.
But he does symbolize bad decisions by the Cowboys. And what I mean by that is they drafted him top 5 at the time, at the beginning of the analytical kind of mentality that running backs, backed up by analytical data that I just gave you. Like, oh, man, you know what? They're pretty much a 4 or 5 year window maximizing a top-notch running back. And based on the best running backs in the league, you can find a very capable, if not star running back at times in mid to late rounds. There was no need in terms of the draft being a value-based business and a value-based kind of methodology. There's no reason to make that type of pick. But Jerry Jones falls in love with players. Right? He does. He falls in love with players, and he fell in love with Zeke. And then even after Zeke had, a great start to his career during that rookie contract, so at least you had him on the bonus. Like you pointed out, Harge, let him skip the line. Let him skip the line. Yeah. Let him skip the line to get paid over your QB. You let him skip that's crazy. Even after we all now, you had at the beginning of that, like that era I talked about where we started to figure out running back value wise, not the best investment draft cap wise, probably not the best investment salary cap wise. Now that is common knowledge. Yeah. Everybody practices that same type of philosophy and mentality about running back. And so I you know what, I almost forgive them for the 2016 miscalculation, but then to pay him again, that's why I say he almost symbolizes bad decisions by the Cowboys. Those are bad decisions. And you had Tony Pollard.
Yeah.
That whole point was to bring it, and then we learned Tony Pollard was the future for them. It was just a bad, he represents for them bad decisions in that front office, miscalculations overall. Yeah. That's why I think it's cathartic. It's almost to me, kind of an exorcism that they can get rid of Zeke at this time. Y'all need to move on and get into the 21st century style of thinking about roster construction. And like I said yesterday, they just started trading make more trades. That was a great trade they made. Yeah. All right, to get Stephon Gilmore. They don't trade enough. They're the most homegrown team in the NFL, and they're great at it. But you need to explore other avenues of talent acquisition.
There's definitely another way to do so, 100%.
Trade it, or you can free agency, and they don't really use those. So I'm just saying, those are just more modernized ideologies in the NFL that they need to adopt.
Yeah, and I thought Zeke was a great pickup at the time, and for him to do what he did as a Dallas Cowboy, where he was, how he been about his business, how he played, and how he was a punishing runner, I thought that was just fine. To your point, it was the second part of that where they messed up. They got what they needed out of Zeke on that first contract because it was still under a rookie deal. He was producing in the running game. He was producing in the passing game. And he was a better pass blocker. And I can't believe we keep going to this as somebody being able to do pass pro all the time as a running back because his job is to score touchdowns and run the rock and end the clock. And I believe that it's exactly what he did during that time. The second contract was the biggest issue. You were 100% correct on that. I thought it was okay at first because of what his production was. It was when he jumped the line, when he went over there, and you decided, I'm about to make him the highest paid running back in the game. I don't care what's going on. He's my favorite. And I'm like, well, you do know that he was damn near arrested 5 times because of doing silly things away from it. So is that where you want to invest your money in, looking at it as the big scheme of things? No, that's where, to your point, that's where the Cowboys started to make that trend of bad decisions. They done it before, and they missed out on one because another bad decision was they didn't draft Randy Moss because they were trying to clean up their image. No, do the right thing and then help teach everybody as we move along. So I'm with you with that. But for him to be gone, and I know you touched on the Stephon Gilmore. I was texting y'all yesterday. I was like, oh, yeah, I love it. Great move, great contract, and an even better deal for LVE. I think they stole LVE to stay there. And that's a player that was just like, look, I don't need a lot of money to be here. I'm not going to try to break you. I just like being a part of this team. My family's here. This is great for us. So I'm going to give you the deal because I know I'm one hit away with my neck from being done. So go ahead and let me get some money because I don't think even on the open market he would have demanded that much money either.
Yeah, and this is why I will ultimately, because I'm with you. The Zeke draft pick, I can't judge them and say it was an indictment on the front office just because I think they drafted him for a different purpose because at the time they don't know Romo is going to be, well, they know he's fragile, but they don't know that basically it's the end of his career. That next injury is going to be the end of his career pretty much. They were drafting Zeke because they thought this is the last piece we need, or one of the last pieces we need to put us over the top, to make a Super Bowl run. It's the same reason we were all thinking, hey, this is why the Eagles or the Bills need to draft Bijan. Just draft that guy to put you over the top. That's who he will. And I think that was the thought process. Remember, Dak was drafted as a third-string quarterback at the time in that same draft.
Exactly,
correct?
In the same draft. That's why they were best friends.
And they ended up being best friends because they ended up starting together because of the Roma thing. So that's why, it's actually now in retrospect, it's much more forgivable, and it's much more understandable why they made that pick. It was made because they thought they were really close, and they were close.
Yep.
When they built that O-line around Romo and they had Witten still there and they had a decent receiving core, they really just needed a kind of a marquee piece at the running back position, or featured piece, and Zeke was that guy.
Let me ask you this. So now with all this being done, we knew it was coming. Cowboys knew it was coming. They've been working through this. At number 26, if they stay there, do they get a running back or do they go elsewhere?
They need a running back.
Yeah.
I don't know if early, but early to middle rounds. I expect them to draft the running back early to middle.
Okay.
So what's that?
Well, I'm saying,
before the fourth round.
Do you think they take him in the 26th pick, though?
If it's the right one, if it's Bijan, hell
of course, yeah.
But if it's Jahmyr Gibbs, I don't know.
Yeah.
Because I think he's the second highest ranked running back.
He is the second one, and then
I like
him.
Yeah. But I don't know if I like him.
Yeah, Jahmyr Gibbs, that might be the one that you trade back for the first pick on day 2. And try and get that first pick, and you go, we'll get him, but we're not giving him that guaranteed contract. We're not giving him first-round money. So that first pick the last couple of years has been a lot of guys who've traded up for early in the second round to get a running back just to get him on the right deal.
Yep.
So that may be a place if you are at 26, you go, we'll just trade back a few picks, get another pick later in the draft, and try and go get him early in the second round.
Or just trade up to go get Bijan.
Or trade up to get Bijan.
You trade down for Jahmyr Gibbs, or you trade up to go get Bijan?
I think either one of those. Or you can take whoever. If there's another guy at 26, and there will be another running back for you in the second round if you want to reach on somebody there, or there will be a running back in the third round. It's a deep running back draft.
Yeah, the guaranteed money from first to second round cuts in half.
Right.
So that's why guys like Bill Belichick, they prefer second round picks. Oftentimes, teams only have maybe 24 to 30 first round grades. If there are an excessive amount of first round grades for teams, you'll start hearing about, oh man, this is a really deep draft. There are 40 players with first round grades. That's usually never the case. Usually there are fewer first round grades than there are picks. really smart coaches like Bill Belichick who understand the draft's all about value, they trade down in the second round because also, in addition to there only being, say, 28 or 24 to 28 first-round graded players out of the 32 picks or whatever they're going to have in the first round, keep in mind there are some coaches who just make mistakes. They screw it up. They got guys graded who are second, third round guys who are graded as first round guys. They don't know what the hell they're doing. And that, so you have also the human error to throw in there too. You throw that in there, second round is actually where you get probably the best, second, third round is best value in the draft. Not only because the guaranteed money cuts in half, but because of the mistakes that teams make in the first round, and they prioritize certain positions. We need premium positions. We're only drafting quarterbacks, DNs, offensive tackles in the first round. I was like, all right, well, I'm going to get the best damn center in the damn draft in the second round. You know what I mean? You get those types of deals in the second round. So that's where, I can see where the Cowboys doing what Patrick said, trading down in the second round, just finding better value, getting more picks, and getting their running back.
Love it.
Of the future. All right, so a lot of NFL talk there. What are your thoughts about the Donovan Wilson deal, just really quickly?
I was big on that. I was so glad to see another great piece of negotiating by the Cowboys and Donovan Wilson, because it's like anything else, Rod. You know this too. If you find a home and you're happy where you're at, you don't have to be the highest paid anything. You just got to be able to get on the field, continue to make plays, and continue to make money. Yes, everybody don't need $100 million. I mean, it's great to have it, but a lot of people have a simple life. And if you can get that good money and still live comfortably and be good at what you do, sometimes that's the best thing, because you could go somewhere else, get all the money you want, and be terrible. At least they believe that they got their core back together. And another tip of the cap to Dan Quinn, because those guys like playing for Dan Quinn. So tip of the cap to him too.
Yeah, it was definitely Dan Quinn focused offseason, because they got LVE back as well.
He ain't done.
Hopefully they're not done. The offense needs a little attention.
Oh yeah,
because the defense right now, looks like it could potentially be even better than it's been the last 2 years. And in the last 2 years, it's been one of the best in the NFL.
No doubt.
When we come back, Mavs versus Spurs. Then we'll also talk about Jason Kidd's message to Mavs fans, whatever that was, and we'll also talk a little NBA. All that and more right here on Ball Don't Lie. Wonderful on the Horn.
Mike Harge here, and I want to talk to you about my friends over at Quick Roofing. Let me ask you a quick question. How often do you think about your roof? Probably when it rains. And by the way, we're supposed to get rain coming up pretty soon. Maybe some high winds, or I guarantee you don't think about it often enough. But do yourself a favor and go to quickroofing.com. The story of Quick Roofing is really inspiring. Jeff Quick started Quick Roofing in 1984 with just one roof. And now 39 years later, they've had over 200,000 projects. You can't stay in business that long if you don't have a great reputation of customer service. And, of course, you take care of your customers. Here are some of the reasons why you should choose Quick Roofing. You get a free, no-obligation inspection. They have a 7-year workmanship warranty. Quick Roofing is fully insured and have all state and local licenses. Quick Roofing doesn't even require any money up front until 100% completion and, of course, 100% satisfaction. Quick Roofing also requires a project manager on every job site, ensuring that you, the customer, get everything that you were promised. So what are you waiting for? Reach out and get that free inspection today. Go to quickroofing.com today. That is quickroofing.com.
All right, welcome back to Ball Don't Lie right here on 104.9 The Horn. It is time for midweek movie music, the midweek movie music edition of Ball Don't Lie. That's where my man Patrick takes songs from a particular soundtrack, plays those selections for us on midweek movie music, and based on that song, we gather clues and hints that lead us to the featured film of midweek movie music. And little Al Green here, huh?
Yep.
Okay. What hard? You said you know.
Pulp Fiction.
No.
Dang it.
That's good, though, because that was a great scene in Pulp Fiction.
That is.
Yeah.
That's good. That was really
That's
good.
why I said I should probably wait for the second song, but I was going with Pulp Fiction.
That was really good. No.
Because all I see is Marcellus Wallace.
No,
talking.
that was damn good, man.
Yeah.
I like that. I like that guess.
Yeah.
All right. So we'll continue midweek.
So you got nothing?
I got nothing, actually.
Yeah.
I got to wait for the second one.
Yeah.
Because every time I think I got something just from the first selection, I'm way off. The second one, it either confirms or sometimes it just totally throws you off. But sometimes it confirms a lot of your suspicions.
Yep.
All right, or whatever your speculation may be about the first selection. So I'm going to wait for the second one, and then maybe I'll give you a suggestion as to what the featured film is for midweek movie music. Yeah. All right, let's get to some NBA discussion. We got to start working our way to NBA. We're going to get to March Madness talk coming up top of the 4 o'clock. We'll start previewing Texas versus Colgate. We'll get into that, but also we'll start talking about the tournament previewing bracket a little bit. And I'm talking about the Cinderella story, that gold-digging skank. We'll get into all of that and more coming up top of the 4 o'clock. All right, first, let's get into the NBA a little bit. The Mavs right now are intriguing for a lot of the wrong reasons. And they actually got to face off against the San Antonio Spurs tonight. And they're not sure if Kyrie Irving's going to play. Remember, Luka's out.
Yep.
Because Luka's dealing with the thigh injury, a quad injury, I believe it is. But now Kyrie has been out lately. And they recently, they've lost 3 in a row. And they've lost, I believe, 9 of the last 12.
Yep.
So they are struggling right now. And Harge, I'll give you some credit too. You didn't like this experiment. You did not like it
From the very beginning.
You're not a fan of this experiment.
No.
But I don't know if it's not. I don't know right now if the experiment has failed because of the reasons that you thought, but you just didn't like it. And I'll give you credit. It ain't working. Patrick's big criticism was more about Jason Kidd, and I'll admit Jason Kidd seems. Man, he seems distant. It's weird.
He seems like he's ready to get fired.
I don't know what. Remember we talked about this when he had the comment where we weren't sure if he was being sarcastic
Right.
or if he was,
Right.
playing it straight. Like we just weren't sure listening. So after their last loss to Memphis, I believe they had 2 games against Memphis. They lost on Monday to Memphis, their 3rd loss in a row. And yes, no Luka, no Kyrie in that matchup too. And so there was a post-game comment or question, I should say, from for Jason Kidd about the playoff prospects, right? Are they going to be a team that can make it to the playoffs? Right now, they are below 500 for the first time since December 19th, and they're headed in the wrong direction. Do we have this audio, Patrick? Here it is. Here's Jason Kidd in the post game after the Mavs' last loss.
Once the season's over. No, just the regular season. What? Well, that's true too. Then there has to be concern. Just understand our health. This is what we have. This is the cards we're dealt, just like anybody in this league. We got to play with the cards that we had tonight, and we played a good half of basketball with a young backcourt that's learning how to play the NBA game. And then just to put that in perspective against a very good defensive team. And so just understand, we're getting better. It's just a matter, can we be healthy in time to make a stretch run? And if we're not, that's just the season. No one's dying.
It's really funny, though. I mean, he's right. All right, let's be honest, he's right. But that's not what Mavs fans want to hear.
No.
Nobody's
Not
dying.
at all.
Hey, Cowboys fans, calm down. Ain't nobody dying around here, all right? Everybody's rich, fat, and happy. So calm down. Y'all won 12 games. You know what I mean?
There we go. That's basically what he's saying. He's like, it's just a regular season. Exactly. I'm not talking about the playoffs. And if we ain't there, we gone.
I vacation in the Caribbean, guys, when the season's over. I mean, I'm fine.
I live really well, regardless of what's happening.
My wife is really hot. I mean, I live a great life. Oh, you guys living a great life? Because it's fantastic.
Hey, man, here's the best part. If you get fired, do they still have to pay you? They still got to pay me.
Exactly.
I mean, I don't know. I don't know if he's pulling the Costanza or not.
He's definitely pulling close to a Costanza.
I don't know what's going on here, man, but he's being very flippant.
What's that? He's quietly, what is
quiet
it?
Quitting?
He's quiet quitting right now. That's exactly what he's doing. But he probably, too, was like me. He was like, why are we going to get Kyrie? That is not what we need. Our mistake is not our backcourt. Our mistake is our front court. We need some help in the middle, and we have Luka. The problem with Luka is when he gets into the paint, we don't have anybody in there to help him. Not the guard play. It was everything else that's involved with it. So maybe that's where it is. He was like, guys, what am I going – this dude has gone through every team in the league and has not been a great teammate to other people. He plays my position, too, so I got a different mentality when it comes to how a point guard should play.
But Kyrie's not the problem, though, right now.
He ain't even playing.
That's true.
He ain't even playing.
He's not been toxic or anything. It's just that the health really has been the biggest
truth.
issue. And you're right. Your point about the front court, them not having a true big, that's also a big issue with them. And, yeah, I mean, I don't know. To me, I'm not going to blame, Mark Cuban and the Mavs front office for making this move. I think they were just trying to, really trying to placate to Luka to let him know, hey, man, we are genuinely giving our all, and we want to let him know that based on this gesture, we're doing everything we can to surround you with talent so that you can go past the Western Conference Finals and get to a championship.
Yeah.
So I'm not judging them for the move. I thought it could have been a good move that worked. It's not working though.
No, but I mean,
not working.
Not at all.
Yeah. There's part of it not working. The other part is that Jason Kidd should have been fired 2 weeks ago, probably at this point, because I feel like he didn't like the Christian Wood signing. He didn't want him to get Christian Wood.
That was a good one, I thought.
So this is the problem.
He was hurt too.
Jason Kidd wants everyone to play 110% of defense. And a lot of these guys don't want to play 110% of defense. And Jason Kidd has apparently stopped trying to make any of them play 110% on defense. The problem is, with Luka on offense, you can't have big men sitting in the paint. You can't have guys that can't shoot threes. And in the NBA, if you can block shots and shoot threes, you are extremely valuable. So the Mavs can't get that guy. That guy's not available. If anybody has them, they ain't trading him. So that guy's not available. So you go, hey, man, we screwed up not re-signing Suggs last year. We need to go out and get another guy. So we'll go Kyrie and try and get Luka a little help because we know he's going to get hurt or get worn out by the end of the season.
Yeah.
We need another scorer. That's the guy who's available. We can go get him. That's not the problem. The problem is, instead of adjusting, this is what not bad coaches, mediocre coaches do, which is, well, I didn't get my players, so I don't care anymore. I can't win with those players. You're like, we can't win with a different group? Mm-hmm. Then you shouldn't be a head coach anymore. You should be a coordinator. You should be an assistant.
Quiet
and you
quitting.
But that's the thing but this is Josh McDaniels in Oakland or in Las Vegas. Has this same thing. Well, Derek Carr doesn't want to sit in the paint. No one could win with this guy. Well, guys did win with him. You just can't win with him because you have one way of coaching. Jason Kidd wants to coach a straight up, everybody plays this style of defense. And on offense, what I want you to do is go down and we're going to pass around. But the problem is Jason Kidd's offense, he wants to have two bigs in the middle. But then Luka can't go in the paint, which is what he does all the time. So when you take that away, then he's just a three-point shooter, and he's not the best three-point shooter in the league. So it makes your offense slow down. It's a thing. The team is not constructed in a way because, everyone would love to have Dorian Finney-Smith, a center that can spread the court, and then Luka Doncic, a true point guard who can score some, but basically he just hits threes, and then maybe another guy you can put in there that's a hustle guy. Everybody would love that.
Yeah,
those players don't exist enough, so you have to make work with what you have. He does not seem to have any interest in changing up any way of his coaching style to get this team to mesh better. The fact that they're not doing workouts, the fact that they're not spending nights and everything else, and I get Kyrie says it's a big toe problem, so that's why he can't go. And Luka should have. Yeah, I mean, when you play in the offseason, this is what happens. Your body just breaks down. All of those things.
He was in better shape during the offseason than he is right now.
Yeah, because
he was cut up then.
Well, no, and it's the rigors of the season. Is you're not eating right anymore because when you're at your place and you have your nutritionist and everything else, you're eating all the right foods and you're exercising a regimented amount of times. He's on a plane or at a hotel room or not. Like, he doesn't have the facilities to do that anymore.
Man, what? He should be able to do that. He is
not big cut up. No NBA player looks that cut up this far in the season.
LeBron does?
Well, LeBron has his own team.
That's what I'm saying. That's what he should be doing.
But that's the thing is LeBron has a mansion in – like, LeBron's investing enough money. None of these other players are going to invest that money.
That's what I'm saying. But Luka, for him, that should be his goal. If he wants to be that type of player, if you have enough energy to go and play for your country that much, and then you're getting paid X amount of dollars to be here for the United States team in Dallas, then you should be taking care of your body 24/7.
No, and I'll also give you this. LeBron is a physical freak that Luka is not. Luka's a freak in other ways, but he's not a physical freak. Yeah. Luka's natural body is about what he's at right now.
Yeah,
when he's cut, it's because there. LeBron James is cut naturally.
He's a physical freak, and he invests like $1 million in his body and wellness and all that stuff too.
But, my problem isn't with Luka. It's not with Kyrie right now. Christian Wood, you wish could play a little bit more physical, but the fact that you're not pushing this team and trying to inspire them. Like, does this seem like a coach who's inspiring anybody?
No, he's put off. He's put off.
No, that's the problem. It seems like he's kind of checked out. They're gonna play the Spurs.
Which, by the way, last 10 games, Mavs 3-7, Spurs 4-6.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on with the Spurs. I'm happy the Spurs.
Coaching.
I'm glad the Spurs are winning. So does that takes them out of the
that's coaching.
the tankathon
I'm saying it's bad coaching for the Mavs.
But no, it is. Listen, I agree with Patrick's point about the coaching thing. I don't know what's going on with Jason Kidd, but he doesn't seem like he's adapting his scheme
he was not
very much. But the Mavs do play at San Antonio coming up tonight. Rockets play the Lakers. No LeBron James, even though LeBron James is back shooting around at practice, reportedly, but he is not going to be back for their matchup.
And for the Spurs tonight, your injury list, Bassey hurt himself last night. He's probably done for the rest of the season for the Spurs. Zach Collins is out, Sohan is out, and Devin Vassell is out as well. So a lot of guys out for the Spurs as well, and most of their front court.
Well, it's because they're trying to get back on track with the tankathon.
They're like a game and a half out of screwing this tank up.
That's what I'm saying. They're right now winning this. Go ahead. But the Rockets just beat the Celtics, which I don't know why the hell that happened.
The one you're worried about. I'm more worried about the Hornets right now.
Yeah.
Because the bottom 3 and the Hornets are 4, and they lost LaMelo Ball, and they seem to be full on the tankathon, and the Spurs are starting to pick it up. It's terrifying.
Yeah, and we know if any city can screw up a tankathon, it's H-Town. They've done it before. All right, we come back. We got the flex on the other side right here on Ball Don't Lie on 104.9 The Horn. Hey, what's up, folks? Lifetime Longhorn Rod Babers here. Let me tell you about Dr. Greg Eckert and his fantastic team, because I can tell you right now that anytime I have any concerns about my dental care, dental hygiene, the first person I call is Dr. Greg Eckert, and he has a great team there, and they can handle anything, whether it's dental anxiety. They specialize actually in easing your dental anxiety. They also can handle any general dentistry, teeth whitening, dentures, porcelain crowns, veneers, dental implants, full mouth reconstruction, even root canal therapy, whatever it takes to ensure you're getting the best quality dental care available. That's what Dr. Greg Eckert and his fantastic team are all about. Now, that's Dr. Eckert with a U, and it's appropriate because he's all about you. He's all about the patient, making sure you're getting the best quality dental care available. My first experience meeting Dr. Greg Eckert and visiting his office, I actually saw, first time, I saw a woman come out there crying, and I thought to myself, man, this is exactly what I thought the dentist office would be about. So I thought the experience would be about. People are sad, people are hurt, hurt. That was not the case. Actually, she was crying tears of joy because Dr. Greg Eckert had given her the smile that she had always wanted. She looked in the mirror, and she had never seen her smile look as beautiful as it looked that day, and it brought her to tears, and we heard about her testimonial, and then by the time she got done telling us what Dr. Greg Eckert did for her, we were all close to tears as well. He can do the same for you. He can give you a brand new smile in just one day, permanently secured to your dental implants. No time spent without teeth. You get temporary fixtures and they can complete your permanent smile, and you'll smile again with confidence and eat freely without pain or discomfort. We're talking about a lifelike permanent solution. So if you've been told your teeth need to be replaced, call Dr. Greg Eckert today to learn about this revolutionary alternative to dentures. A brand new smile in just one day. It sounds too good to be true. It's not. It's just Dr. You. Give him a call, 512-345-3166. That's 512-345-3166. Or visit dreckert.com, DRUECKERT.com. All right, welcome back to Ball Don't Lie right here on 104.9 The Horn. It is the midweek movie music edition of Ball Don't Lie. It's my man Patrick plays songs from a soundtrack, and based on those selections, Harge and I are supposed to gather clues and hints that lead us to the featured film of midweek movie music. All right, Harge, you had a quick guess, very confident but inaccurate guess for the first selection. What you got after this one? And I gotta tell you, this is why I wait for the second, because now I know I'm not even close at all.
I'm not in the same.
I'm not. No, I got no shot right now. I got nothing.
I'm sitting here trying to figure that out right now, and
nope.
No, I'm gonna go ahead and
I got
say
nothing.
I'll holler at y'all.
I got nothing.
Yeah.
So, all right. Well, wait. Usually Patrick takes it really easy on us, and he takes pity on us at the top of the four, and we get it very. It's not a softball, but it's an easier clue. So I'm hoping that's the case. If not, then he's going to have to just tell us essentially what it is, so we don't, because we off early at 6:15. I don't know how.
That's right.
He ain't got that many opportunities. Okay, so let's get to the flex here. Go to FLXATX.com, FLXATX on all your social media platforms. They also have shout-outs for some of the all-district selections up there, FLXATX.com. You can go check that out. And there's also updates on some of your hoops. I believe those are the all-district selections for hoops, I should say, in Central Texas. You can go check that out at FLXATX.com. Also, FLXATX on all of your social media platforms. Today, we don't have the flex, usually on Wednesdays.
No, but they recorded a podcast that is available up on the Horn FM podcast page. You can go to the flex tab there, and they, I believe, recorded one last night that'll be up either today or tomorrow.
Yeah, because it's all about podcasting right now because of Texas baseball being on every night. Makes it a little tough for everybody to get their fix. So,
yes, usually it's on Wednesdays. After we're done, you'd get your flex fix. But thanks to my man Patrick, the real MVP, you should be expecting a podcast flex because we're trying to make sure that we keep up with the Texas baseball schedule, which
no doubt.
Becoming, at this point, man, it's a rigorous one. Yeah, no doubt about it. All right, we come back. We'll talk Texas basketball, actually. We'll talk about their upcoming matchup in the first round of the tournament, the Madness of March versus Colgate. We'll also get into Rodney Terry's status with the candidacy for being the next head coach at Texas and the NCAA tournament preview. All of that and more right here on Ball Don't Lie, 104.9 The Horn. All right, welcome back to Ball Don't Lie right here on 104.9 The Horn. Midweek movie music edition of Ball Don't Lie. Patrick takes songs from a particular soundtrack, takes those songs, plays them for us, and based on the selections, we are to gather clues and hints that lead us to the feature film of midweek movie music. Hard thinks he's got it. Give it to us.
Is this Ray?
Nope, it's not Ray.
That was good. I thought Ray Charles too. I was like, this ain't Ray though.
Let me give you a hint. It is a sports movie.
What?
This is a sports movie.
Wow.
Oh, God. It's something about basketball because March Madness is starting.
Yeah.
Is it Blue Chips?
It is Blue Chips.
No, well
Blue
done.
Chips coming
Good job,
in
yeah.
since March Madness is
I like
here.
that.
Yeah.
Good stuff.
I figure it's going to be a hard one to pick, but there's some good
this
songs
is when
there.
they were looking for Shaquille O'Neal in
Yeah.
the woods, and he was
Yeah,
dunking
look.
in that gym.
If
Yeah.
you think basketball movies and I need some money, Blue Chips should be at the top of that list.
Yeah.
Blue Chips is, you're right. I don't remember really the songs from Blue Chips, but
Yeah.
it was a good basketball movie though. Yeah.
Yep.
Nick Nolte.
Yep.
Good
Yes.
quality scene at the end for Nick Nolte. One of the great kind of just random rants, if you will. Just a great monologue that he has at the end there
Yep.
where he talks about the money and everything.
And how the game is just kind of
Yeah,
passed.
and he's in front of the media and everything, throws all the guys under the bus.
Yep.
That is a fantastic scene. I could
Yep.
watch that scene, honestly, right now and it still give me some goosebumps. That might have been Nick Nolte's greatest acting job.
Yeah.
I don't know if I've seen Nick Nolte better as an actor than he was in that last scene of Blue Chips. To me, it seemed like he felt it. Like it was that to me, man. I got almost a visceral reaction from it. It was fantastic. That was a great scene in Blue Chips. Anyway, that's the midweek movie for midweek movie music edition of Ball Don't Lie. So you can always hit us up on the Specs text line 512-337-3776. That's the best way to do it. You also can reach out to us via Twitter. Harge is at Hardball Harge in the Twitterverse. Patrick Davis at It's Patrick Davis in the Twitterverse. All right, so let's start with this report about Coach Terry that I thought was pretty interesting. So I was just doing some research, just looking around, and there was a report about the status of Coach Terry, and I believe it came from Goodman, who is a basketball insider. He's one of the top guys. Does a really good job. As a matter of fact, I was looking at random brackets, which also we'll get into the brackets here. I promise you, we'll get into some random bracket conversation, and we'll start to preview Texas versus Colgate. And thank God Patrick has got a chance to watch Colgate. I've done more research on Colgate, but man, it's hard to be able to find games to watch Colgate. But we'll get into that.
I was a degenerate. I got a chance to watch a lot of Colgate this year.
Yeah, there you go. See, I mean, there we go. So we got. Trust me, that's more than most that had eyes on Colgate, man, because most people have not had eyes. So it's Jeff Goodman. He's the one that had this report. So he says, and he had this on his Field of 68, which I believe is his the write up, the article that he publishes, and he says. With Texas, they're going to swing for one of the big boys if they don't hire Rodney Terry. He said if Rodney Terry goes deep, they're going to have to give it to Rodney Terry. They don't want to, he says. He says Chris Del Conte doesn't want to ultimately, but he may have no choice if Rodney Terry goes deep, second weekend or beyond. If not, they're going to try to swing for the fences. Essentially, this is exactly kind of how we broke it down. And now I hope it's not true that he doesn't want to hire Rodney Terry, is that maybe that he's waiting to have all the information available before making the move. He wants to make the most informed decision that he possibly can, and part of that informed decision is how does Texas ultimately fare in the NCAA tournament in the Big Dance. Now, with the expectations now being heaped on, that's a big part of it too.
Yep.
Because now you got a lot of the experts that are picking Texas to be in their Final Four. All right, you got Dickie V, Alfonso Ellis, Seth Greenberg, Jay Billis, Reese Davis, Seth Davis, Jay Wright, all picking Texas in the Final Four. The first time I've ever been able to fill out a bracket while getting deliriously drunk on the burnt orange Kool-Aid.
Right.
And I'm putting them in and they're in my Final Four. Are they in your Final Four? Patrick there in your Final Four?
Of course.
Of
All right.
course.
See, every Longhorn's going to have him in the Final Four now. You're like, well, if the experts are doing it, I'm drinking the Kool-Aid.
Yeah.
But part of the reason we're drinking the Kool-Aid is because Rodney Terry's done a damn good job. And obviously in a situation where he had to handle a crisis, and we've talked about Chris Beard, now hired at Ole Miss, actually had his introductory press conference yesterday, too.
My gosh.
So he's moving on. He's got him a head coaching job before Rodney Terry gets the official head coaching title at Texas. So what are your thoughts about the report that, that maybe the folks behind the Burn Orange Curtain may not want to hire Rodney Terry, but if he makes a run to tournament, they may not have a choice. He may not give them a choice if he takes care of business.
Well, I love the fact that, Jeff Goodman, who seems to be Chris Beard's right-hand man and always the one that reporting everything about Chris Beard. Remember, all the stories that have ever come out of the University of Texas for a while were coming from Jeff Goodman. Jeff Goodman was getting a lot of information from Chris Beard. And I've talked to enough people to know that he's getting a lot of information from the inside. And for them to be able to say, for him to actually say that Chris Del Conte doesn't want to hire him and they want to go for a big name, that's what we all were talking about from the very beginning, though. It's not that to me was not breaking news. The breaking news is the fact that the pressure that Rodney is putting on him, the pressure that we're starting to see by the team winning, because I wasn't here when we came back that Monday, so I didn't get a chance to talk to you guys about it. How clutch was that win? That was a big win.
It was a huge
and people, the first thing they say, well, they didn't have Bill Self. Well, a lot of people can say, well, Texas didn't have Chris Beard the entire year, and I get tired of hearing all that. You still got to hoop.
No, and it's funny because if you listen to the commentary, Fran Fraschilla made this reference 20 times during the weekend. He's like, doesn't this team look exactly like how they look with Bill Self on the sideline?
Right.
Like they did a lot. Bill Self maybe could have called a timeout at a different point.
Exactly.
But they were just getting outplayed. When McCullers was out, Timmy Allen was out. And McCullers being out, huge benefit for Texas in the fact that they didn't have a empowering force on rebounds. All that, it can be washed out. It doesn't matter. You have to go in and play the game. That's what the March is about, is going in, beating up, and playing the games. He did it. Now, I can see on one side, while Chris Del Conte, I don't think as much now, but maybe if this is rumors from a while going in.
Could be.
Chris Del Conte is a fundraiser.
Yep.
Rodney Terry, I don't know if he's as much of a fundraiser. And so there could be, hey, man, I like a coach who works better with the system. Right. Rodney Terry's a basketball guy. He's a great basketball guy, but I need a coach like that.
Booster, donor,
friendly guy. What would concern me the most in that piece was, well, they're going for the bigs. Most of the bigs won't come, and then they're looking at a guy like Steve Forbes, Wake Forest's coach,
right?
Who doesn't have a great resume. Like, he's basically an up-and-coming guy, but he was an assistant a few years ago. Like, this is not a guy that you think, oh, man, we need to get rid of Rodney Terry, who's winning us games and everybody loves, for a guy that we're taking a shot at who couldn't win the ACC on a really down year. I don't, that name really threw me off. That if you say big name and that name, that's not a big name.
That's not a big name.
That may be a hot name. If you want to say they're going after the hottest name, but
Rodney Terry's
going to be a hot name.
You want hot name.
And I can understand Chris Del Conte being a bit worried about Chris Beard trying to go full press on Texas and take away any players he can, take away any coaches he can, any staff. That may all be in a play after the season. And so he's going, oh, man, we're going to have to try and everyone's going to be coming for me for a raise now because everybody wants, because they're all going to get an offer from Ole Miss.
Yeah,
or at least their agents are going to say they did.
I will say for these coaches, though, man, I don't know if they're married or everything, but getting your family to leave Austin.
Yeah.
To go to Mississippi.
No, I get it.
I'm just saying.
Ain't no hotty-totty over here.
Wives play a big role in that. I guess you was like, hell no. If Rodney Terry's here, we got the job here, we staying here at all. Right. We're not moving to Mississippi.
No, and if you want to be a head coach again, I would think that people would be more on side to say, hey, if you're coaching beside Rodney Terry, you're doing more than if you're coaching aside Chris Beard. I think that if the main thing, though, would be that Rodney Terry is not the showman that Chris Beard was, of he's not going to have the fireside chats and he's not going to have that stuff that CDC really, really likes in a coach.
It's the added value.
He's an added
value guy.
And so I think that could be a reason that he would be trepidatious. However, if Rodney Terry wins in the tournament, that you can't there's nothing you can do.
Yeah, and by the way, we just haven't seen Rodney Terry in that role, and that means Rodney Terry can't do it. You probably can say, hey, Rodney, we need you to have fan outreach type programs in place. I'm sure Rodney Terry can create.
He's been good on Longhorn Weekly this year.
Yeah, he's been really good with that. He's been really good with the media. He's been really good with the fans because the fans have been loving on him from day one. They didn't stop showing up.
No, they didn't. They didn't. And the players.
Yes.
At more point, the players love him, and they're playing really hard for him after they won. That was one of the things that stood out to everybody was that the players, they wanted everybody to know we're playing for this guy, and we think he deserves this job. We want him to have this job. So interesting conversation. But yeah, I mean, I think Patrick's right about a lot of the added value because also, Chris Beard had a vision for how he wanted the team to look, a vision for how he wanted the program to look, a vision for the outreach, the connectivity, if you will, with the fans. He had a vision for all of that stuff. And hell, was very close to executing that vision. Rodney Terry's picking up right where, he left off and doing a great job with it. So also, I think, in addition to the things that Patrick mentioned, I think CDC wants to see that vision, or he wants to hear the vision. Like, give me the vision. What's your vision for the program? Is the same vision that Chris Beard had? Well, if that's the case, then then I wonder if you do have a vision, or if it's just his vision. What's your vision to build this program? I guarantee you, he probably asked Sark the same thing. Like, hey, how are you gonna get us to a national title? And by the way, we're going to the SEC. So how are you gonna do it going through the SEC, the ecosystem of the SEC? How are we gonna become a national championship program? And Sark said, all right, big humans. What? Big humans. I want big humans. I want them on the line of scrimmage. I want them on the D-line. He probably broke it down to him on that, whatever, that phone call, whatever it may have been. Yep. And I think that's a part of the pitch, too. What's the pitch? What's your vision? Give it to me. Sell it. Sell it to me.
And that's the thing, Sark. Mm-hmm. And then I want to get the best weight room, and this is how I want to do the weight room. And this is how we're going to get the money to do all that.
Yes.
I think that's a big part of it. That Chris Beard helped build the Moody Center. And so when he's thinking of like, hey, man, we still got to do renovations in there. We still got to we want to build a new building. We want to do all this. We need a coach to help do that. And I could believe, too, that this information was probably a week or two old.
Yeah, it probably was before they won the Big 12 tournament.
So there could have been more into it of like, hey, man, if I had my choice, we'd be getting a new guy, and we could just start over, and we could build up the way I want to, instead of being put in a position where now I don't know what I have. But, again, just winning this tournament.
You're right about that. I think, Rodney, leave no doubt. Just get to the Final Four, leave no doubt. I think, and then I believe CDC will gladly remove the interim tag. I like what this texter threw out here, though, and it's an interesting text. He said, hey, guys, a little-known fact is CDC's secret passion is the basketball program. He's a basketball guy. So I think he secretly wants to shoot for the stars when it comes to a basketball coach. Getting Beard was his dream get for a coach. If Coach Terry makes it to an Elite Eight, this discussion should be over with Terry getting the job. I think I totally agree, and I think that's a good text there about, I don't know, CDC's, everybody's got a kind of a secret passion project, and maybe it is because Chris Beard did a great job of, even the vision for the program and the mentality and the philosophy defensively that he wanted to have. It was actually something that also worked symbiotically with the mood and the Moody and the culture of the mood and all that kind of stuff. Like he thought it through. He went deep into my vision. This is how I want to execute it. This is the details of the vision. And I hope Rodney Terry is working on that sales pitch about his vision and the details of it.
Family.
The family.
Reunite the family.
Exactly. Yeah, with the early. Yeah, you're right. A great point about that, too. He was big on, I want to reach back and respect the legacy and history of Texas basketball and the fans. Oh, we Texas fans, fireside chats, this kind of stuff. So I think as long as he has a detailed vision and he takes care of business, I think the job is Rodney Terry's. No question.
Guys, we've been sitting here talking about this the entire time. All I do is win. When you talk about championships, you got to put my name in there. That's all I want y'all to understand. I've been winning, baby.
And I would love a Rodney Terry impersonation contest. For real. You get courtside season, you can do the best Rodney Terry impression. And you get all people from all the everybody, man. That's right. Because I think Hards would win that damn thing, by the way. I think Hards would be courtside, him and the fam, man. Because your Rodney Terry is on point. Y'all be like,
man, he's over here yelling at these players. And they looking around.
We're going to do a Hards Rodney Terry interviewing Rodney Terry.
That's right. That's right. But ask him what's going down for real.
All right, let's talk about Colgate since we got a little time here before we get to Hard Knock Live. Let's talk about the Colgate Raiders, gentlemen, because that is their mascot. I'll tell you this, and I thought it was interesting. So I'll start from the kind of the betting side of things. I thought this was interesting because Texas is, or at least last time I looked at it, they were a 13-point favorite.
It's too many points.
Okay, so I just want to get your thoughts on it because okay, there you go.
That's too many points.
Texas is 1-11 against the spread in their last 12 NCAA tournament games, including 2-8 against the spread when the game is played past the round of 64. But 1-8 against the spread the last 9 round 64 games. And if you look at Colgate, they played 5 NCAA tournament games. They're 0-5, so they haven't won an NCAA tournament game. But they're 4-1 against the spread.
Yeah, they're one of those teams that you look at them and you're like, man, we're better than them. Like, as soon as you see them, you're like, we're better than them. And then you start looking at how good they are from certain places on the field, on the court, and being able to do certain things. So it's one of those things where Texas has to play a complete game. We saw them finally play a complete game. We saw that happen. Can you put those together? And what is it? You got to win 5 games in a tournament, or is it 6?
6, right?
6 games in a tournament. So can you go 6-0 in the tournament, playing your best basketball game and holding your opponent? You was talking about Jason Kidd earlier, about how he wants people to go out there and play defense. You have to be unselfish now. You've got all your accolades. You've done everything you can possibly do. And I heard the story about the chain and him giving each person a chain link, and you got to be a part of this, and we got to be tied in together. And that's great. I love it. And if that's what they're going to believe in, and if that's the motto moving forward, let's do it. But you cannot let each other down in this situation. No egos. Nobody gets all of that love that you possibly think you can get. You start looking at this team, they're shooting 51% from the field, 40% from three-point land. They take 8 threes a game. They're only shooting 65% from the free throw line, though.
They make 8 threes a game.
That's what they make 8 threes per game. Yeah. That's right. But they only shoot 65% from the free throw line, which is something that you're surprised by that, right? Most of those teams you would think would be better at free throw shooting. But Texas is right there with them on all aspects of it. And athletic-wise, I think Texas obviously is the most athletic team that's still there. But you still have to go out there and play. You still have to go out there and execute. And you can't look past Colgate. They won 9 straight games, and they've been in convincing fashion.
And they've won, I think, 20 of their last 21 games.
Yes,
actually.
They're 17-1 in their conference.
If you look at it, they in their last 2 tournament games, remember they had a lead.
Yeah.
They had a lead on Arkansas, had a lead on Wisconsin.
That's my point.
And end up losing those games because it's hard for them with the talent disparity usually to play 40 whole minutes with a team.
Right.
But, man, they'll scare the hell out of you because of their three-point shooting. To Harge's point, if you go look at it in 2021, they were 3rd in Division I in three-point percentage. 2022, they were 2nd. And this year, they're 1st.
Trending.
That's a pattern. There's something they're really, really good at. That's their calling card.
Yeah, no, and they're a really good passing team.
Yes.
And that's the thing, is they move a lot. But this goes back to, if you focus for 40 minutes and you just don't let the little mistakes of letting guys do back cuts on you and letting guys get open shots, because they shoot really well, but they don't shoot a lot. They shoot open shots.
Yep.
And basically what they do is they run around, move the ball around, and they go again, they get an open shot. Now, when you're playing really good defenses, that's a lot harder to get open shots. So Texas needs to focus, not let them get open shots, and that's when they're not going to shoot as many threes. That's when they're going to try and get the paint in. And then once you can get them behind far enough, they have to start shooting threes, which lowers the percentage because you're trying to take contested threes all the time. This is a game that is, if you don't focus, they can easily, because they're a good three-point shooting team and have some really good shooters on it, they can't get you. However, if you focus, they have no front court depth. They don't really have a ton of size and athleticism in the front court. So you should be able to eat around the basket all day long. So you don't necessarily have to be a good three-point shooting team against them. And then you have to be precise with your passes because they're going to jump passing lanes.
Yep.
So they understand they can't physically stand in front of you, so they're going to step back more. I wouldn't be surprised to see a lot of zone trying to get out there just to show Texas something different and not let them just use their athleticism to blow past some of these guys.
Yeah, they have to gamble and take risks to close the talent gap, to close that gap, which means three-point shooting, a ton of it, which that fits their DNA anyway. And I totally agree. They gotta steal some possessions. Literally, they gotta just find a way to get some extra possessions, and that's how you pull an upset. So I don't like Cinderella. She's a gold digging skank. So
I'll also say this,
and they play long before midnight, so they still got their slipper on, bro.
I will say this: they are a team that can turn the ball over, though.
Yeah,
this Colgate team does not have a lot of really good ball handlers that are going to protect the ball a lot. If you press them, they're going to bend and break.
Put the press on.
So Texas does have a strong press. That is something that Colgate's going to have to work through a lot in this game because they will turn the ball over, and they don't have the athleticism to get back either.
Yeah, take Texas to win.
Yeah.
Covering that number, I'm with Harge. That's a big number.
That's a huge number.
I'll tell you this. I wouldn't take it to cover. I would not take it to not cover either. I would not take Colgate to cover this game either.
Yeah.
Because if Texas plays the way they play in the Big 12 tournament, it's a 30-point game.
That's true.
So if they do, they are just mind-bogglingly more talented on the court than them. But they could easily slip because we've seen them do it plenty of times.
Our night will be so much better if it is a 30-point game.
Yeah. And let's put it this way. Colgate played one ranked team the entire season. They lost by 30.
Yep.
Yeah. They played 2 Power 5 teams. Was it Syracuse? They played close.
And they
played Auburn.
Yeah. Auburn beat them.
Auburn was the one that put an Old Testament style butt whipping on them. All right, what you got coming up, Harge?
I want to let y'all know about your boys' trip to Surprise, Arizona. Surprise, surprise, surprise. Let me just tell you that. And I want to give you a little update on the Texas Rangers as we move forward because baseball season is right around the corner for the major leagues.
All right, the tales of Harge, planes, trains, and automobiles. We'll have that when we come back right here on Ball Don't Lie, 104.9 The Horn. Hey, what's up, folks? Lifetime Longhorn Rod Babers here. Basketball bracket season is officially upon us. It's time for you to shoot your shot and score big on the nonstop action with MyBookie. With so many brands to choose from, you need a platform that makes it simple to bet and easy to use and easy to win like MyBookie. Whether you're filling out multiple brackets, betting on the eventual national championship winner, or simply looking for player and game props, MyBookie has you covered. Getting started is so easy. It's really simple. All you got to do is visit the website online, make your first deposit, and use the promo code HORN, HORN, to claim an exclusive deposit bonus. That's the promo code HORN, HORN, to claim an extra deposit bonus. They're talking about straight cash, homie, on top of your initial deposit. With MyBookie, you're making money before you even place your first bet. With hundreds of thousands in prizes for the Madness of March and for the weekly blackjack tournaments, you can turn your game day into a payday with MyBookie. Bet anything, bet anytime, and bet anywhere. As long as you're betting with MyBookie, you're betting with the best.
Welcome back to the midweek movie theme edition of Ball Don't Lie. The movie ended up being what, Patrick?
Blue Chips.
There it is, Blue Chips, since we're here for March Madness. My man Patrick doing a great job, as always. You can follow me on Twitter at HardballHard. You can follow my man Rob Babers at Rob Babers. And, of course, you can follow the man behind the glass at It's Patrick Davis. We also love it when you're a part of the show. Hit us up on the Specs text line, 512-337-3776. Well, as everybody's noticed, or maybe you didn't notice, that your boy was out of town for a little while. I went on a trip to Arizona with the Round Rock Express for spring training at the Texas Rangers complex in Surprise, Arizona. Trip was planned for a while and was real excited about going back. For those that don't know, I went to spring training with the Round Rock Express a few years ago, and it had been the first time that I went to spring training since I stopped playing. So after I stopped playing, I didn't want to go to spring training. I didn't want to be at a training camp. I just didn't want to be around it because I'm watching all these guys having fun, and I'm in here not the one that y'all are cheering for or there to see, and just being around the game for a while, I kind of wanted to be away from it. But, obviously being in this business, you kind of want to get back into it, and you get a chance to go around the fields, get to see people that you knew, played against, coached against, and cool. Just had a really, really good time. And you get to see all these different parts of the way that these guys are working now. The game has changed so much. Yeah. Saw people with jackets on that were like rib protectors, but they were to try to keep them balanced, and they were working through certain things. Just all this new technology that's involved, and just being around the game and watching people walk around, it was really, really fun.
That is cool.
Had a great time. But before that, a lot went on. So got to the airport, having a great time. Got myself some of the Earl Campbell's sausage over there. Went over there,
for sure.
Had something to eat, sitting there having fun. My man Bob Ballou was there. He went on the trip with me too. So we were sitting talking. Got to see Jimbo and Jamie Cotton. Their daughter Bentley was playing. UT happened to be playing in Arizona as well. So we were on the flight together, just having a grand old time. Well, we get to the airport, land in Phoenix, and as everybody's trying to hustle. Round Rock Express have a lot of people with us too. We're trying to make sure that we're getting to where we go. And if you've ever flown into Sky Harbor, you have to get on a tram to go to the other side of the airport, where ground transportation and your car rental and all that. So we're sitting there, and as we're getting on this tram, the doors won't shut. And they're like, what is going on? And there's a lady sitting next to me who flies for Frontier.
Oh, man.
So we're sitting there and we're talking and trying to figure out. And she's like, I don't know why these doors won't shut. I mean, maybe somebody's obstructing. And she says it out loud, trying to make sure everybody was out the way. Well, then over the loudspeaker, they say, there's a problem with the other tram, so we have to wait for that tram to go another direction, and then it's free for us to go back. So while this is happening,
they're automated.
Yes.
And they're probably all on the same automation.
Correct.
To keep the timing right.
Exactly.
So when they all close at the same time, wherever they are in the terminals, or
and you can go a different direction and all this other stuff.
Okay.
And I was like, well, where are you headed? She's like, well, I'm getting ready to go to this place, and I'm trying to make sure that I make it on time. And I was like, man, they won't leave without you. She goes, psh. Yeah, they will. Yeah, they will. They will.
But that means they've done it before, the way she said it.
Yeah, the way it happens. So we end up finally moving. We get to the other station. Everything's good. Well, as we're getting ready to make another move to get on a different side, those doors shut. And so Bob's side of them, they can get off on their side. Well, I'm getting ready to be stuck with my man Andy. And so we finally jump out real quick, and then we're like, well, how are we going to get to them?
But
exactly. We look, and there was a little area where people were coming from, and I was like, maybe we can connect over there. Okay. So we ended up getting that done. So we're all good. We drive. It's about a 40-minute drive from the airport to Surprise, Arizona. So you're not technically in Phoenix. You're not. You got to drive. It's like from here to Killeen. You know what I'm saying?
So,
so we were driving, but it didn't feel like it because we're still talking and going through everything. Well, you check into the hotel, right? So I'm getting ready to check into the hotel. They everything is paid for, but you know as well as I do, they want your credit card for incidentals.
Yes, they do.
They want to make sure, hey,
just in case something goes wrong, the fit is the sham. We know where to charge.
Exactly.
We know who to charge.
There's some incidentals that are missing. Boom, maybe some bottle popping that was happening up in there. You had a wild party.
Yep.
You paying for that.
Exactly.
Well, I sit there and I'm like, all right, yeah, here. And I start patting myself down like I'm in, I'm getting
Everybody's
arrested.
had that moment.
I'm like, wait a minute. Wait.
Start beating yourself up.
Wait a minute.
No.
So I start going through my bag and looking for everything. Don't have my wallet.
Oh, man.
Now, I know I have it.
Nightmare.
I've had it
Nightmare
because
fuel.
I bought food.
Where?
In the airport in Austin.
Okay.
But I know I have it because I transfer. I go back through and I'm listening. I'm playing through everything and I'm going through all this stuff. And I'm like, I sat down, ate my food, talked to Bob, stood up most of the time during that time because it was a group of us. So we were all talking. So I wasn't just sitting down. So I'm like, well, it can't be there. So what I'm thinking is it was on the plane. Like it fell out of my pocket on the plane.
It fell out of your pocket.
And 9 times out of 10, I have my wallet in my front pocket. 9 times out of 10, you can, if you want to pat me down, it's going to be in the front.
Okay.
Because that's what I do.
Like an old school wallet?
No,
like
no,
a money
clip. I had a money clip.
Yeah, that's okay. There you go.
Yeah.
It's different.
So I'm sitting there and I'm like, okay, trying to play this through my mind. Well, let me back up just a little bit. So I'm not the only one that was having a tough time. So Bob is traveling because he's got to go. He's covering for his TV station, and so we're there. And Bob has this backpack, and it's got a camera, his little camera phone, and it's new contraption that he has that he can use that does everything for you, where you don't have to carry the big old school. Camera.
Yeah, through an airport and all that kind of stuff.
He was like, man, this is the first time I'm going to do this. This is going to be so cool. And so we're talking about it, and he's like, yeah, this is going to be great. Well, as we're getting ready to leave and wait for our car, Bob notices that he doesn't have his backpack.
Oh, no. Oh, come on.
This is true plane, trains, and automobiles, for real.
What are y'all doing this? Y'all taking
Like, we
shots?
wouldn't even, no, we couldn't.
Shots at the bar at the airport?
We couldn't because of the timing, but we did have a drink apiece on the flight.
Okay.
So we're just like, okay, so we're doing all this stuff. Well, anyway, we get to the hotel. Bob finds it. He calls back. The security ended up having Bob's backpack, and he said, I don't even care. I just need to make sure that this camera is in here because this is a brand new contraption.
And I can't afford to
lose
do this. I ain't paying for it.
Yeah. So we get there, and everybody, of course, we get to the hotel. I'm patting myself down, don't have anything.
Oh, man, that's a nightmare.
And then I'm realizing not only do I not have my credit cards, I don't have my ID. I don't have my money. I don't have anything. So it was on a Sunday, so nothing is happening, right? So I can't call my bank to cancel anything because my bank is closed. I had to call my home health company and say, cancel the American Express card because I can't use that.
Yeah.
So but I have my phone. So I still have my Apple. Well, I can't use it because I can use it just for that day, and I could Venmo anybody in our party and say, I'm going to Venmo you X amount of dollars, just get it to me. Give me cash. So at least I have walking around cash the entire time. That's
a good point.
So I Venmo'd my man Chris Amadeus, the president of the Round Rock Express, and I'm like, hey, man. And Chris is my guy. I've known Chris for a long time. But he is letting me have it the entire time.
I can't blame him.
He is letting me have it. So I'm like, everywhere we go that entire time, Hard, you got the tab? Hard, you got the tab? I'm like, man, leave me alone. So the next morning, I have to call my bank to cancel. I was telling them to hold off. I let them know where I was. And I was like, if any charges happen anywhere else besides Surprise, Arizona, flag it. It ain't me because this is where I am. And she was like, nope, we're going to shut it down right now. I'm like, I am on vacation. I have to have something because I'm going to the ballpark and I'm trying to buy gifts. I'm trying to do all
they
that.
said that's our policy is to shut it down?
Yeah, that's
like their policy.
That's my bank's policy, which I appreciate.
It makes sense, though.
But it was not one of my things.
I guess they can't be, like, later on if you decide to change your mind and then the bank is held liable. You're like, no, I didn't charge that.
Right.
And then that's a whole investigation.
Exactly.
Yeah. So now we'll just shut it down.
So I asked them, I was like, hey, while I'm out here, do y'all have any sister accounts? Do y'all have any people that you partner with? They're like, no, we canceled that. So because I'm with a credit union. They's like, no, we canceled that. Because I was going to walk across the street, open up another account.
Yeah.
And be able to get money that way so that they can at least, because one of the people that were traveling with us, she works at a credit union. So we were having this discussion.
Everybody's trying to help you problem solve.
Everybody's trying to help me, man. Everybody's trying to help me. So long story short, we go through this entire thing. Well, Mike has to fly back from Arizona. So I'm sitting there and everybody's trying to figure it out. So I have my passport, Xerox copy to me. So I had a copy of that.
That's smart.
But I also had a copy of my Social Security and my driver's license on my computer so I could print that out. I sent an email to myself and I printed that out.
Does that work?
It did.
They accept the printed out ones?
They did for that because I had front and back and I had my other identification. I had my spring training ID. Okay. So I had everything that would say, this is me. So they actually let me put that there so they can accept my luggage. Well, now I got to go through the check, not the check-in, but the security check.
Yeah.
This is my what do they call it? PSA to everyone. If you have not signed up for TSA pre-approval, or most importantly for me, Clear, where they use your ID and your eyes, your retina, and your
I've seen those people.
Fingerprints.
The Clear people.
They're always like, hey, you want to sign up for Clear? I'm telling you right now,
sign up for
take the time to sign up for it. Because if I didn't have that, I don't know how I would have gotten back home.
Yeah, because all your information is in the Clear system.
And they have my actual fingerprints.
They have everything. Yeah, they have everything.
And they have my eyes.
Yeah.
So I might have had a little red eyes.
Yeah.
But they were able to get me on my plane, make it home. So I get a phone call today. I'd sent an email, filled out paperwork, did all this other stuff. Nobody got back to me Monday. Nobody got back to me Tuesday. But today, before I got ready to come to the show, after I'd already went to the bank this morning, did everything, they call and tell me, we have your stuff.
Hey!
They ain't had the cash. They didn't have the money clip.
Who at the airport?
Southwest called me this morning and said, cool. Mike, we have your information. We're going to send it to you today. It'll be there tomorrow. Because I was going to have to go get new driver's license. That's the one thing that scared me the most is my identity. My identity with all my information was there. They would have been able to get that. So I have that. But when I landed yesterday, got to my car, because I parked it in the garage, your boy's car didn't start in the garage.
Oh, man, you're on a hard luck streak right now, man.
So I had to take a cab, and as I was talking on the phone,
get out of here.
My phone dies.
Come on.
I had to walk to the front desk, go to the thing, and get a cab. Cab cost me $9 million.
Oh yeah, these days cabs are more expensive than Uber.
Exactly,
it's hard
because it's South by South, so South by Southwest, so they're gouging you, they're taxing you.
Tax, baby.
My man was like, "Would you like to go on the toll, or would you like to take 35?" I'm like, "Just get me home. I don't care. You can fly a helicopter for all I care. Just get me to my
crib." Take the scenic route.
Exactly.
Like, no, go to my house.
Got to my house. Had to go buy a new car battery. Had to buy a new charger for the car battery. And I went and bought myself something to eat last night. And I stopped by and had a daiquiri. And I also came home and did a bunch of shots.
Hey, you deserve it, man.
I was like, man, I am just going to chill and go to sleep because I am mad. I need to get this day over with. But good news is,
wow,
my stuff is on the way home, and I made it back in one piece, and I'm glad to be back here. But Rangers fans, be excited. Jacob deGrom looked good. Uvalde looked good. Josh Young looked great. Simeon and Seager are doing their thing, and the outfield is going to be exciting. I'm not saying take a flyer on the Texas Rangers, but they should be competitive in September, and we should see competitive baseball by the Rangers this year.
All right, there you go. Playing hard knock life.
It's a hard luck life, as the texter said right here.
Oh, no question, man. Everybody's had those travel experiences, and that's one of those nightmare, man. That's those nightmare situations.
Nightmare.
You lose your ID, but then you had, I don't know if it's a good Samaritan because they did steal the money, but at least they
that's the tax.
They
taxed me.
Hey,
that's the tax.
So did they find the wallet, or did somebody turn it in?
I think somebody turned it in.
So I wonder the person that turned it in took the money and was like, all right, I'll do the right thing, but I'm taking this damn cash.
Yeah, because by the way,
you
the call came from
baby.
The call came from Las Vegas, so somebody took that to Vegas and spent my money. So I hope they won.
At least you contributed to somebody's good time.
I hope they won.
They found your wallet in Vegas.
In Vegas. That's the end of that story.
That's an appropriate ending.
Exactly.
All right, good stuff there for Hard Knock Life. We come back. This is a thought experiment that is going around the TikTok world, a kind of a TikTok challenge, if you will, and we'll discuss it. It's sports related right here on Ball Don't Lie on 104.9 The Horn. Hey, what's up, folks? Lifetime Longhorn Rod Babers here. If time is money, my friends at Apple Leasing, they're going to save you both. That's the best thing about Apple Leasing. They're going to save you time, they save you money, and they find you great value. They understand that the car market right now is a crazy, crazy market, that things are right now can be really expensive. Inflation is through the roof. They understand that, and they're on your side. Best thing about my friends at Apple Leasing, they can find you the price you want, the payment you want on the car that you want. All it takes is one phone call, folks, or one click on Apple Leasing's website, and you'll get a quote on any make or model vehicle that you want. They can even give you an estimate on the value of your trade-in right over the phone. Apple Leasing's simple interest easy lease allows you to have a lot more flexibility, which is going to give you more possibilities and options to help you find a vehicle that not only fits you best, but more importantly, the one that fits your budget best, because they understand inflation is out of control. It's never been more expensive to buy a new car, buy a used car, or buy anything for that matter. So leasing actually now makes more sense than ever. You're only paying for the part of the car you're actually using. So what are you waiting for? Give Apple Leasing a call, 512-346-9977, and let them see how much money they can save you. They get all the same discounts, all the same incentives that the dealers do. Except my friends at Apple Leasing, they pass those savings on to you, the customer. So give them a call, 512-346-9977. That's 512-346-9977, or visit appleleasing.com. That's appleleasing.com. All right, welcome back to Ball Don't Lie right here on 104.9 The Horn. All right, this next story, it's kind of off the record, so it's not really a story. It comes from the TikTok world. I don't have TikTok on my phone. You have young kids, Hard, so I'm sure you know more about TikTok than I do. Patrick, do you have TikTok?
No.
Okay, so we're officially old men, all of us. But Arj, I know you know about TikTok. You got kids.
I do know about
TikTok. And the
TikTok.
kids are all into TikTok. So there's a TikTok challenge going on, more of a hypothetical kind of thought experiment. It's sports related, and it's kind of gone viral in the TikTok world. I think it's ludicrous, but here is the premise of the challenge, if you will.
10 yards in an NFL game. I've been having this debate with one of my buddies for a long time. He swears up and down that the average Joe should not be able to throw 10 yards. I beg to I'd be damned if I get held to single-digit passing yards. So the rules are man coverage, right? Man coverage, best man coverage corners in the game, but you also have elite route runners. Full pressure, full speed game. You've got linemen coming at you the whole time, but you have whole 15-minute quarters, 4 quarters to get 10 passing yards. Ain't holding me. I'm putting up at least 100. Get the
All right. These people are actually discussing this in the TikTok world, too. They believe that just an average Joe can get at least 10 passing yards in an NFL game, 4 quarters, no screen passes, no shovel passes allowed. Do you think this is realistic for the average Joe?
No.
They can get 10 yards?
No.
No way, right?
No.
There's no idea. No way.
Now, if you want to say one trick play, can you get me a guy open enough that I can put the ball downfield in the general vicinity and get him a pass?
That counts. If you
No, but one play. I think I could do it in one play if you ran one trick play. If I'm in there multiple times, my passing yards are really depleted by how many sacks I'm taking in this game.
Yeah, but I obviously they're not getting that deep.
And how many interceptions I have thrown.
I think they're basically saying, can you get 10 positive passing yards in a football game? And remember, don't forget that Kendall Hinton, did this because they needed an emergency quarterback. What was that, Denver? I forgot who that was that needed that emergency quarterback, right?
Yeah, it was the wide,
remember? And the wide receiver played quarterback?
Yep.
You know how many yards he threw for? You remember how many yards he threw for that
I think it was
game?
like 36, right?
13.
13.
He was 1 of 9 for 13 yards, had 2 picks.
That's a great nugget.
So I think hell no. There ain't no way that the average Joe can throw for 10 yards in the NFL game with pressure on them and everything like that. They got no shot.
No, and
they got no chance. Maybe a tip pass that falls.
Maybe a tip drill.
Yeah, tip drill pass.
Yeah.
That's about it. But no way you're gonna put it on the money with a guy and throw him open. That ain't happening for the average Joe.
I think for the average Joe, they would be surprised how far behind the receiver they were throwing.
Exactly.
And how blatantly long the wide receiver had to sit and stand while 3 defenders came over while that zip ain't there. If you've ever caught a ball from somebody, if you've caught a ball from a jugs machine, you're like, oh, that's faster than anyone's ever thrown me a ball because I don't play pro ball.
Totally agree.
And you're like, you don't know how fast those guys throw the ball.
I
Yeah,
have no idea. Hard might be able to do it. Maybe
Hard might. But he ain't an average Joe.
Yeah, he's not an average
He's
Joe.
a former professional
average
athlete.
Joe. Yeah, average Joe. That guy said Kendall Hinton was a professional, and he threw 2 picks and 1 for 9 for 13 yards, and he practiced a little bit at it. No shot, people. You got no shot. That's
I'm not dealing with that. That mental aspect of where there's no way they can stop me. Oh yeah, they can, bro.
Exactly. And you're not gonna make it through 4 quarters.
Exactly.
The likelihood is you're gonna get hurt very early on in the first quarter of that match. So you got about 1 quarter to throw for 10 yards.
This is the other part. I don't think they understand when that pressure comes that Kyler Murray makes it look real easy to evade a sack. You are going to get 1 step.
Yes.
1 step, and the most amount of pain you felt in probably years, if not your life, is about to hit you. And then you're going to be on the ground. He's going to poke you in the side.
Exactly. Yeah, do you get up from the first hit? When you get sacked the first time, do you even get up? When you go, oh, my whole left side hurts?
Exactly.
I tap.
Well, first of all, I don't get up till the play's over because I got to wait till they run the ball back for a touchdown when he hits me.
No
I don't want to
help you.
I don't want to
up.
get blocked again.
Oh, man. I love TikTok. That's great. They're having that types of discussions on TikTok. I need to get a TikTok account.
Hey, by the way, if you ask me can I do a TikTok dance, also no.
Also, no.
The likelihood, what's more likely, you doing a viral TikTok challenge or you throwing for 10 yards in an NFL football game? Which one would happen?
I think you could do the viral TikTok challenge.
I think the viral TikTok, because I'm sure there's one that involves less movement.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. A ton
I'll
of them,
tell you
actually.
this, though. I bet I could drink any of them kids under the table.
Good, because those kids should be drinking. All right, we'll come right back. We'll get into Cowboys and Texans free agency frenzy. It officially started. What's Aaron Rodgers going to do? He did speak to Pat McAfee. What did he say? We'll discuss it all right here on Ball Don't Lie, 104.9 The Horn. Hey, what's up, folks? Lifetime Longhorn Rod Babers here. Everybody knows my go-to tequila, Hot Cat Tequila. The cat stands for cinnamon, agave nectar, and tequila, and the recipe, just as simple. Cinnamon, agave nectar, and tequila, but it is so light, it's so smooth, it's so delicious. It's a tequila lover's dream, and if you're not a fan of tequila, Hot Cat Tequila will turn you into a fan of tequila. It makes any event a party and turns every party into a celebration. So celebrate and turn up with Hot Cat Tequila. Once you try Hot Cat, you can't go back to the old cinnamon whiskey or that cheap tequila you were ordering rounds of when you were just trying to get the party started. Turn up your party with Hot Cat Tequila. It's the perfect way to pregame for all the big games, concerts, festivals, or any night on the town with family and friends. Best served cold for a quick round of shots or to sip on the rocks. So visit Cat Tequila. That's cattequila.com to find a store near you that sells Hot Cat Tequila or to find a bar near you that serves Hot Cat Tequila. Toast and turn up with Hot Cat Tequila. Welcome back to Ball Don't Lie right here on 104.9 The Horn. Midweek movie music edition of Ball Don't Lie on 104.9 The Horn. My man Patrick, the Idealionaire, takes songs from a soundtrack and, for whatever reason, inspired by a soundtrack from a movie, takes those selections, plays them for us, and based on the songs, we are supposed to gather clues and hints that lead us to the featured film of midweek movie music. My man Harge got it this week. It was Blue Chips, the film Blue Chips. Great movie if you haven't seen Blue Chips. Shaquille O'Neal, Anthony Hardaway, Nick Nolte.
Yep. Anthony Hardaway, who's coaching in March Madness.
Oh, there you go.
Because Memphis made it in.
I like that, man.
Who got a lot. He learned a lot making Blue Chips because he was under investigation for a while for some misdoings.
Truth at times stranger than fiction. Gentlemen.
There it is.
There you go. No, I like that. Yeah. So, Blue Chips is the featured movie for midweek movie music. Please hit us up on the Specs text line, 512-337-3776. Any comments, questions, concerns? You also can use the Twitterverse as well. My man Harge is at Hardball Harge in the Twitterverse. Patrick Davis at It's Patrick Davis. And I'm at Rod Babers in the Twitterverse. Remember, we're off early at 6:15 for Texas baseball. So we'll get my man Harge's thoughts about the Texas baseball team before that matchup. And he did say he wanted Texas baseball to be above 500 by the end of the weekend.
Ding, ding.
They did exactly that.
Ding, ding.
They took care of business. So we'll talk a little bit about that coming up a little bit later on in the show. Let's talk about the big news of the day for Cowboys fans. We know the NFL free agency, the new year, I should say, officially started. Legal tampering period now officially done. This NFL free agency is now upon us. And the Dallas Cowboys, although it is designated as a post-June 1st cut, Dallas Cowboys decided that they were no longer in need of the services of Ezekiel Elliott, and he will be cut post-June 1st cut. They're going to save about $10.9 million on the salary cap with that. There is nearly $6 million in dead money attached to that as well. So his contract will be on the books until then, but he is free to sign with another team, and the Zeke era is over. And for me, Harge, I think Cowboys fans, if they are wondering why they feel a certain kind of way about watching the Zeke drama unfold and him ultimately, and I think we know it was inevitable, ultimately now being cut and released by the Cowboys, it's okay. We've all been in relationships like this where you know the end is coming.
Yep.
It's pretty obvious to both parties involved, but when it actually happens, you're still a little sad about it. You still got to go through the process of grieving that relationship. So it's okay, Cowboys fans. It's okay to be a little sad, even though cutting Zeke was the right thing to do. All right. It's the best for the team. Honestly, I don't know if it's best for him, but it's best for the team ultimately, and I think it's for the greater good. Still can be sad about it though. It's like any relationship ending. It's all right.
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, we all knew it was coming. We have been talking about it for weeks. We talked about it at the end of the season. We actually talked about it during the season when we saw exactly what Tony Pollard was able to do. We were like, this might be the end. And then, Zeke missing a step, slowing down a little bit, not doing the same things, and the explosivity, as we like to say, of a Tony Pollard made it one of those situations where it's like, yeah, this is probably going to be the end of the road. Don't make it any sadder. I mean, it don't make it, you're not happy about it, but reality is the NFL is a business and things have to change, and financially it was a problem. They let him cut the line at the very beginning, which was really the true statement about it, because Zeke probably could have stayed on the team and done great things, but that money does not warrant you to be on this team. If you're going to be a part of that and the financial burden that you have now put on this team, that is why you ended up being let go before anybody else. By the way, Dak Prescott is the last remaining member of that 2016 team that was there, of the draft.
Yeah, and that's why, I said this earlier, because they obviously were taken in the same draft, and they became really close because they became basically the Cowboys' foundational pieces to build around for the foreseeable future. And now, obviously, that future is changing a little bit, but Dak is still there. And Dak, I believe, when Aaron Rodgers ultimately goes to the Jets, which we'll talk about, is there a quarterback in the NFL that's been with their team longer than Dak?
No, I don't think so.
I think after Aaron Rodgers leave, he's like gonna. That's how fast the NFL is changing. Because Tom Brady retired, I don't think we've had a lot of quarterbacks that have been with their team longer.
No,
than Dak. He'd been the starting quarterback since 2016.
Seems like everybody's on the move all the time.
And with Aaron Rodgers, like I said, he's one of those kind of grandfathers of the quarterbacking game. And with the new NBA-ification of the NFL, quarterbacks are moving a lot more. And a lot of the veteran quarterbacks are deciding, no, I want to move and I want to reinvent myself somewhere else. I think he's now that guy in terms of tenure on a team. Anyway, I digress. Getting back to it, that was just to get further add to your point there, Harge. But getting back to the initial drafting of Ezekiel Elliott, I don't think that was a true indictment on the front office, even though you could criticize it because at the 2016 there was a movement starting to happen in the NFL where analytically it was driven more by the stats and the analytics that the running back value was starting to decline, and that running back position was just not worth it in terms of draft capital spent or salary cap dollars spent. Now that is common knowledge, that is common practice. Nobody wants to overly invest in the running back position, whether it's draft capital or whether it's salary cap dollars. The Cowboys probably could have observed, that type of thinking at the time. But like I said, at the time, I think when they drafted Zeke 4th overall, they thought Zeke was the last missing piece to what they assumed was going to be a Super Bowl run by their quarterback Romo, but they didn't know Romo was as fragile as he turned out to be, and then that's why Dak gets the job. He was originally a third-string quarterback. So that wasn't that's not as much of an indictment as the second contract, as you mentioned, Harge. That was the ultimate indictment, and that's why Zeke, in a sense, he symbolizes bad decisions for the Cowboys.
Right?
Allowing him to skip the line, then paying him all that money while he was on the decline, his productivity on the decline. You start paying him more money. You were paying him less money when he was in his prime, and you started paying him more money when he was on the decline.
Yep.
That is terrible business strategy.
Yeah. You didn't think this through.
So I think ultimately that's why, to me, it's a bit cathartic because he symbolizes about some of your bad decisions as an organization. He was a good player, but because of way you miscalculated the value of the market with Zeke multiple times, you almost, to me, negatively affected his legacy with the team. Yep. Because once you overpaid him that money, he could do no good in Cowboys fans' eyes because you were paying him too much.
Yep, that's all it was.
He's like, I'm paying him too much for this. He scored how many touchdowns? What, 8 touchdowns? Well, you're damn right. We paid for everyone them touchdowns.
He's making all this money. You should be paying. He should be scoring touchdowns. But I think you hit the nail on the head when you said that the second contract was what was the downfall of Zeke's career. That is when people started looking at him a lot different. That's when people started judging it a little bit more. And I was one of the first ones to say, bro, you messed up the entire cycle by jumping in front of everybody. And you start looking around the league and seeing who's the most productive, who's the least productive. And he was more on the latter side, and the money didn't justify who you were. Now, at the time, when you got it, I thought it was wrong. But, hey, man, go get your bread. Get your bread.
Zeke did the right thing.
Yeah, if they going to pay you, you take it.
Yeah, Zeke did the right thing for Zeke. Zeke won here, by the way.
For sure.
We're talking about legacy, but in terms of Zeke personally, financially for Zeke, it was the right thing to do. Skip the line because Zeke, agent, understood the kind of that infamous study that I brought up earlier, which has haunted the running back position for a long time. And since 2001, when they look at running backs all running backs who have played at least 4 NFL seasons with an average of 75 carries a season, they all peak at 27. They peak at 27, and after that, they have a precipitous decline. After that, their rushing totals drop by 15 percentage points by the time they get 28, drops by 25% by the time they get to be 29, and by the time they're 30, you're talking about a 40 to 50% drop in rushing productivity. And Zeke's agent knows this. Zeke knows this. Zeke decided, you know what, before my decline comes, which is inevitable for everybody except, I don't know, Adrian Peterson and a couple of Frank Gore. There are some of these guys.
They kept on playing.
Yeah, they give the middle finger to Father Time. We've seen them, and good for them. We all met people who I'm 55. Like, damn, you look like you 40, 42. That's great. You're aging really well. Well, some guys just age better than others, but for the most part, most running backs, and that includes Zeke, they start to decline right after 27. There are just some professions where you age faster than others, and even though you may consider yourself young, you're old for that profession. All right, you can be a 35-year-old rapper and think you're young. Everybody like, man, you old as hell to be a rapper. You're just old. All right, you can be same thing for strippers. You can be a 28-year-old stripper, and they're like, man, you're pretty old for stripping. That's just the way it is. You're closer to 30, then you're an old stripper. If you're a 27, 28-year-old running back,
you ain't finished college yet.
You exactly. You basically geriatric.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I brought up the other earlier that unfortunately for older women, you have a pregnancy past 35, they start calling it a geriatric pregnancy. You're like, what the hell is that? That's insulting. Same thing to running backs. You're basically at 27 years old, you're basically a geriatric running back. That's why all these guys want to be traded. That's why the market is right now robust with a ton of running backs, because teams don't want to pay for them.
Yep.
Or overpay for them.
Well, I was listening today to Michael Robinson. You remember Michael Robinson played running back and played quarterback at Penn State, but played running back for San Fran, and he also played for Seattle. And the conversation that he was having today is that he said that the running backs need to have their own CBA. They need to go out and form their own CBA because of the things that we're just now talking about, how they start to decline, how the numbers say this, and this. But yet and still, you still need him because he was a fullback, but most teams don't even have a fullback.
Half of them don't.
Yeah, exactly. So when he was out there, and he was a quarterback originally when he was coming out. So it is one of those things that is just continues to say, well, there's some things that need to be worked out in the running back position, because it's amazing to me how we went from having them in the first round to now you're obsolete. It's all about the quarterback. It's all about if you can get them on a rookie deal and doing all this stuff. And that's the funny part about it, too, because we can talk about the quarterbacks and how, you need to make sure that you get them on the rookie deal. Well, then at the rookie deal, aren't they underpaid? Because they're playing so well?
Yes.
I mean, that's the yin and the yang, right? You're trying to figure out how do we find this balance. Well, he doesn't deserve that money. Well, when he was balling, nobody was giving him the money, and every time he wanted to go to the table, it's like, it's not your time. It's not your time. That's why I was saying when Dak was up for the money and he was playing well, you could have got him at a lower price, but you wanted to wait. You wanted to wait till the end, and then you franchised him, and then you ended up having to pay him anyway. That's the irony of this entire thing, because you can always say, well, we want them on that rookie deal. Well, then when they outperform the rookie deal and it's time for them to get paid, they always say, well, we don't want to pay you anymore now. Like, I don't understand. The same thing. That's what Lamar Jackson is going through right now.
That is true.
He overperformed for the rookie contract because he ended up being an MVP, and now it's time to pay him. He continues to win for you because his record tells you what it is, and then you want to be critical of he can't throw, he can't do this, he can't. That to me, and we talked about this before, that's the lazy argument, because if you go back and you put weapons around him, he's going to show you how to he's going to make things better, because that's what he did. He made it happen without weapons. Let's see what he does with weapons.
You sound like a baseball player complaining about the NFL.
That's what I'm saying.
And
with
the,
our
and the salary cap structure and the CBA.
I just want to see people get their money,
You're
man.
asking very valid, logical questions. But I can tell you, as a player played the NFL, it don't work that way. No. It don't work that way. You're talking about a guy who used to make guaranteed dollars.
True that.
That gets lifetime health insurance when they play a certain amount of games. NFL don't offer none of that, brother. None of that.
No,
okay?
and I mean, if you look at it now in the free market and go, look how many good running backs there are, and there's not a lot of great ones. And so Zeke, you wanted to be that great guy, and I don't know if he ever had the full explosiveness you needed to be a great guy. I think probably for a couple years in there he did, but he was never that Derrick Henry or that where you're like, oh no, he can average 4.5 yards a carry, and he can bust out for a touchdown, 60-yard touchdown run at any point. That's just really hard to find, but you can get the guy right below that level. There's 40 to 50 of them.
Yep.
And it's just an overfill, and you're just like, the free market dictates if there's a bunch of guys looking for one position. With musicians, you go, why do people not want to pay musicians? They go, well, I can get a really good band for $2,000 to play my show. Mm-hmm. Or I get a band just a little bit worse for $200. I'm just going to get the little bit worse band. And there's a ton of bands who will take underpayment because for them, that's feeding their family. And for running backs, they go, well, yeah, man, I'll take a lower contract because I just want to get paid. Because otherwise, I'm in the XFL or I'm in the USFL, so I'll gladly take Zeke's job. I hate that I'm taking him out, but that's why you can't have a CBA for running backs. It's because there's going to be no loyalty in it.
No,
because only a few guys are trying to get paid in it, and a lot of other guys are just trying to get just a hand in the door.
Yeah, no, the NFL's done a really good job. Started with the rookie wage scale that, just suppressed all of the inflated salaries initially. So initially, you don't have to pay top dollar for or compensate these players for their primes.
Right.
And then you got the franchise tag. You
Yeah, they just got all kinds of stuff out there.
You can franchise tag a player, I believe, technically 3 times. Remember, Kirk Cousins got franchise tag twice. I believe you could do it 3 times. Now, that's absurd because it goes up every time.
Time.
If you want to basically retain control of the rights of a player, in NFL, technically, you can do it for around 6 or 7 years if you really wanted to do it. So you're right, and that's the prime. You're an NFL player. That's your prime. That's it.
Give me all that.
That's it. You're not. I mean, baseball, you got a little longer for your prime. Basketball, you got a little longer.
We just saw
football as a running back, dude. That rookie contract, that essentially right now, based on what number I gave you, that's your prime.
Yeah, we're seeing baseball players get $300 million contracts right now, and they're like 30. They're 30.
It's unbelievable. Can I ask you something? This is interesting. I don't know if we got time to talk about this, but you just brought up something I thought about it. Since baseball has guaranteed money, right? And baseball is old money. All right, it's old money in America, too. We know what old money is. Old money. Baseball's old money. It's sports version of old money. All right, they just got it for days. It's been around forever. They always going to have it. So
That's
you got guarantees that.
Yeah, they doing whatever they can.
Powerful Players Union as well. Most powerful players union as well. Why hasn't baseball created a billionaire player yet? The NBA's got like 2.
Because that would make them an owner.
The NBA's got 2.
Well, he did that. He created it outside of it, though. But you're right.
You act like baseball ain't got the same opportunity. They're getting paid. It started off with LeBron James and MJ getting the big NBA money. All right, then they get the endorsement deals. The problem is endorsement deals.
That's what I was just about to say.
That's my complaint. The problem is they don't get enough endorsement deals. They're not getting enough money away from the game because they're not recognizable.
That's
the NBA players are recognizable. Then they can get into other. And this goes back to.
Which is kind of funny because
they should also have created a billionaire player by now. Derek Jeter should be in that conversation.
Jeter should
right?
be the closest
There are
one.
a couple of players that should be in that conversation.
A-Rod was on his way to that.
You know what I mean?
A-Rod was on his way to that.
The NBA has made 2 billionaires already. The NFL ain't gonna never create a billionaire. Hell no. Now with the restrictions and salary cap, and then when they give a guaranteed
Not the
salary.
suppression.
They are.
Well, no, not
But
players.
from baseball, Tom Brady will be a billionaire before he dies.
He's probably going to be a close. Yeah, he will.
So because because of other
but now,
leveraging.
after the divorce, we're not sure anymore. He was close. That divorce and that crypto hurt him bad. I heard
the crypto really hurt him.
The crypto and the divorce, I hear hurt him bad.
That is true.
So I don't know. The NFL,
I could believe with TB12 and all that.
But I think you're right. I think he's the closest. I think. So. But isn't it crazy? Like that, the NBA's got 2 of them.
That is a great point.
And baseball, Derek Jeter should be in that conversation, but he's not there yet.
He possibly can because don't forget he became an owner. He was part of an ownership group, so he might be trending in that direction. But you're right. I think the biggest problem with the baseball players is the guys that they have as the face. Like LeBron was the face. Michael Jordan was the face.
Yep.
When you look at Major League Baseball, Mike Trout didn't want to be the face. He was the face. But A-Rod was on that because he was the ones that was getting the big 300 and 200 and the endorsement deals. So he's still, and now he owns part of a basketball team. So he may be on that way, and he may become that guy.
And he's still recognizable.
And he's
even if you hate him or don't like
TV
him, everybody
every
still
week.
knows who A-Rod is.
Exactly.
And if someone keeps breaking records, Aaron Judge could be headed that way
That's
too.
a good one.
Yep.
Because I mean, he plays for the biggest team in baseball.
Yep. And came back because of that.
And already broke one of the home run records.
Yeah, you got to have been a Yankee at one point in your career to be a billionaire.
That or a Cub. That or a Cub.
I guess maybe a Dodger too, but you're going to play for one of those organizations that's spending a lot of bread. I'm just random conversation.
No, that's a great conversation because that was something that I hadn't really put together because of that. But now that you didn't put that on my mind,
isn't it interesting?
There are definitely some players that could be trending that way, and the way that they're paying them now. If they continue to pay them too,
yeah, right. You're right.
That might be the biggest
that
thing
matters,
too.
Right. We're only going to get these guys in the last 10 years or so, just because. And MJ is the exception because of the shoes and all that kind of stuff, and I get all that too. Soccer, I wonder. Soccer probably has maybe nationally, maybe I don't know.
I think Ronaldo would probably be that guy. He'll be close to
in that conversation nationally. So
because he's got endorsements too.
Yeah, a ton of them.
Yep.
Just talking about that.
No, I like that.
Why? Since we're having the conversation, we might as well continue it. I was thinking about music as well. How many artists of different genres have become billionaires? Because hip hop has produced 2.
I mean, so
Kanye and Jay-Z are both there. Rihanna is in that conversation now too, right?
I would guess Gene Simmons is by now.
Okay.
But Gene Simmons is one of the richest. Paul McCartney's
probably in that conversation.
There's a few guys. It's usually a guy in a band.
Not Sir Elton John?
I wouldn't imagine Sir Elton John is just because he hasn't invested it the same way.
Yeah, you
Those
can't
other guys,
just beat music. It's
like Gene Simmons has the whole catalog of all this weird stuff, and then buys other he owns everything in Kiss.
That's
Paul
key.
McCartney owns all the
own your
Beatles
masters
stuff.
and all that.
So and then now there's the guys who they're buying up record collections.
I hear this.
So that would be another way you can do it now. Is you just basically get to a certain age and then you go, well, for $800 million, I'll sell this to you. And you go, well, I already had 250 in the bank, so I'm a billionaire.
And all you got to do is just make new music because they own all your old music.
Well, normally those guys are doing it. They're at the end of the.
You don't even need to make music anymore.
We're done.
Yeah.
I just gave my family generational wealth, and I'm good now.
Yeah, it's just interesting.
That's a great
so many
think
more
piece.
billionaires now being created, and now in all different, walks of life and different professions. Anyway, random conversation. Sorry, took it to a different place there.
Great.
Let's get back to one quick conversation before we get to Raj Round today. The Cowboys considered Darius Slay, who has been released by the Eagles, the All-Pro cornerback. Because obviously they decided Stephon Gilmore was a better way to go. I bet Stephon Gilmore was cheaper than Darius Slay.
Over half as cheap.
Really?
Yeah, Clay was up around $25 million.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Well, then that's an easy decision.
Yeah.
Then. Okay, then no conversation needs to be had. Then.
Yeah, we could go to Raj right today.
I looked before the show today when I saw he got released. I looked and went, it's like, why did they not know?
Yeah.
That's why. That is a big salary cap hit.
There you go. That's pretty good. Texter here says Sir Paul McCartney is a billionaire. Yeah, I wasn't sure. I'm sure. Yeah, I mean, I was just wondering who is in that conversation there. All right, we'll come back. We'll get into Raj Rap today. We'll talk about free agency in the NFL since it's officially started, the NFL new league year. And I'll get into a little bit of a warning. All right, I think there are some tales of caution that I want to get into in Rod's rant of the day about free agency, about being overly invested in free agency. Caveat emptor.
Ooh.
Right here on Ball Don't Lie on 104.9 The Horn. All right, welcome back to Rod's Rant of the Day. We were just talking about billionaires, and let's talk about how the billionaires and the Billionaires Club, that is the NFL Owners Association, let's talk about how they spend their money in free agency. Now, I went back to 2012 and wanted to look at the biggest spenders in free agency. What team spent the most money, who basically won free agency that season, right? So this is a contest, who's going to win free agency. And the really good teams very rarely win free agency. They don't have to, right? It goes back to the Dallas Cowboys. The Cowboys, they don't like free agency. Matter of fact, they still have done very little with outside free agents. The Cowboys have re-signed their own in-house free agents because we know they like their guys. They're the most homegrown team in the NFL. And Stephen Jones' famous quote about free agency: you're going to pay good players like they're great, average players like they're good, below average players like they're average. It's just not a great way to build a football team. And he's completely right about that, by the way. All right, it's not a great way to build a football team through the draft. Build a great football team through free agency. You want to build through the draft, and you want to complement and supplement with free agency, with trades. That's the way to go about it. The Cowboys usually wait till much later in free agency, and I understand why they do that, because it's hard to find great value in free agency. That's why caveat emptor, right? Let the buyer beware if you were going to try to win free agency. So in 2012, top teams to win free agency, and I went and looked at their records and how many winning seasons, double-digit winning seasons, these teams that won free agency had in the 3 years after that free agency period that they won. Because most NFL contracts are done after 3 years. The NFL starts to cut ties with you, they move on, they trade it, something like that. So that's just the reality. So I went 3 years, and sometimes I went 4. So 2012, the Saints, they won free agency. The Saints, Bucks, and the Browns. Saints had one winning season. It was a double-digit win season in the next 3 years. The Browns had 3 winning seasons in the next 3 years. They only had the Broncos. Broncos. I take that back. Broncos. They had 3 winning seasons in the next 3 years. They are actually an outlier, an exception. Really rare that a team who wins free agency has 3 winning seasons consecutive like that. But the Broncos in 2012, they actually did that. 2013, Miami Dolphins, Colts, and the Titans won free agency. The Miami Dolphins had 1 double-digit winning season in their next 4 seasons. Colts had 2 winning seasons in their next 4 seasons, and the Titans had 1 winning season in their next 4 seasons. The Bucks in 2014, Bucks, Broncos, and the Giants, and the Bucks had 1 winning season in the next 3. Broncos, once again, they are the outlier. They have 3 winning seasons in their next 3 seasons, 2 double-digit win seasons. Giants, 1 double-digit win season in their next 3 after winning the 2014 free agency period. Jets did in 2015. They won it with Jacksonville and Miami. 1 double-digit winning season among each team in the next 4 years. So the Jets had 1, Jacksonville had 1, and Miami had just 1 double-digit winning season in the next 4 years after winning free agency that year. 2016, Jacksonville and the Giants and the Broncos. I take that back. The Browns. Sorry, I have trouble reading my own writing. The Browns, Jacksonville Giants, and the Browns, they won free agency that year. The Browns had 0 winning seasons in their next 4 seasons after 2016 offseason winning that free agency period. The Giants had 1 double-digit winning season in their next 4 seasons. The Jacksonville Jaguars had 1 double-digit win season in their next 4 seasons. 2017, Jacksonville loves to win this, by the way. They won it again. Baltimore also was number 2 here, and San Fran jumps out. San Fran actually ended up in their next 3 seasons even making a Super Bowl appearance after that 2017 offseason. Baltimore had 2 winning seasons, 1 double-digit win season in their next 4, and Jacksonville had just 1 double-digit win season in their next 4. Chicago, I looked at them in 2018. They won free agency. The Jets won it in 2018. And Jacksonville, they were the teams that spent the most money in free agency. Only 1 double-digit win season among all 3 teams who won free agency in 2018 over their next 4 seasons, and that was Chicago. They had 1 double-digit win season. 2019, the Jets, they won free agency, had the most money spent. Green Bay was second, then Buffalo. then Detroit, then Las Vegas. Green Bay and Buffalo were the exceptions. They actually had 3 double-digit win seasons in their next seasons. I think a big part of that is figuring out who your quarterback is going to be and getting the quarterback situation settled, which both of those teams did. But the Jets, 0 winning seasons in their next 3. Detroit, 0 winning seasons in their next 3. And the Las Vegas Raiders, they were in that conversation too. 1 double-digit win season in their next 3 seasons. 2020, Miami Dolphins. Man, they were doing a lot in 2020. Going after Tom Brady, they were doing a lot. They had Miami Dolphins actually end up having 3 winning seasons, but only 1 double-digit win season in the next 3 after winning the free agency period of 2020. Cincinnati jumped in there too, spent a ton of money that offseason, and they did have 2 double-digit win seasons in their next 3. Las Vegas, only 1. Carolina also was in the top 5. They had 0 winning seasons in their next 3 seasons. Cleveland, 1 double-digit win season in their next 3, and Detroit, just 1 winning season in their next 3. Point is, that's the trend. The trend is basically that old quote from Anchorman, 60% of the time, it works every time, and the majority of these, I would say large majority of these teams that I studied and what they did in free agency and the teams that won free agency, most of the time you had 1 double-digit or winning season in your next 3 or 4 for most of the teams. But like I said, there were exceptions. Green Bay that year, Denver, there were exceptions. Buffalo was an exception. Cincinnati. I mean, there are exceptions. So you can win it and also go on to have, foreseeable success over the next 3 or 4 years. But most teams who are irresponsibly trying to spin their way out of dysfunction and incompetence and ineptitude via free agency, they fail, and they fail miserably. Free agency can be a factor, a variable that puts a contender over the top, but it can by no means be the foundation of your talent acquisition. And when teams try to do that, like I said, they usually overspend and they fail miserably. And there's no doubt it is, in terms of value, I brought this up yesterday, it's the worst value of talent acquisition in the NFL. I had the strip club example yesterday, but I'll stick to a grocery shopping example today. If you are going grocery shopping, which we all have done, you're on a fixed budget, that's a salary cap, so it's similar. Basically, free agency is like shopping at Whole Foods or Central Market. Now, some of y'all do shop at Whole Foods and Central Market, and God bless y'all. Y'all got the bread for that. Most people in the middle class, they can't shop for everything at Whole Foods and Central Market. The prices are just way too high.
Yep.
You may get the more items. You may have items specifically that you want because you're trying to think organically and all this kind of stuff. Whatever your diet, that's all separate. But in terms of value and price point, man, basically that's the worst bang for your buck out there if you're going grocery shopping, and that's essentially what free agency is. The worst bang for your buck. What's the best bang for your buck grocery shopping? Shopping at H-E-B. They got coupons right there for you in front of the items. They're like, hey, you know what? You're going to buy this bread. You buy this bread, they'll give you another one half off. Just take this coupon. You damn right. Thank you, H-E-B. All right, H-E-B is the best bang for your buck when you're in grocery shopping. That's the draft. The draft is you get the most talent and you get the best return on your investment in that draft capital, and that's what HEB is. Great value. Shout out to my friends at HEB. Love them for that. And if you're looking at the undrafted free agents, you want to look at that talent acquisition. That's the penny stock. You can't get better than a undrafted free agent that end up making your roster. Essentially, that's like you going to a grocery store and going to the checkout counter and the cashier girl just forgetting to check one of your items, forgetting to scan one of your items or 2 of your items, just giving you free stuff. There ain't no better value than that because that's just free 99. And then trades, I don't go to Sprouts. There's a Sprout app, and you can go there. You can trade with neighbors about produce and kind of farmers market type stuff. Yeah, there you go. That's a trade. So if you want to continue the analogy with grocery shopping. Yesterday I went strip club hard, and people were like, man, a strip club.
Yeah, like, sounds like a real good one.
The strip club was a good one. Yeah. Essentially, the value of a talent acquisition in the NFL, comparing it to the value of soliciting services in a strip club, the best value in a strip club is the tip drill. You go to the stage with $1, even with inflation, and that $1 will get you 30 seconds of good, free love and entertainment. Right? Yeah. Free-spirited entertainment, I should say.
Love the spirit, guys.
Free-spirited entertainment, right? And that, to me, is the best bargain out there. That's the draft. Nope. That's your draft comparison.
I like it.
There's no better bang for your buck in a gentleman's club than going up to the stage with your $1. And I don't know if there's anything in this country now with inflation that is a better bang for your buck than the tip drill in a strip club when you go up there with $1 and that beautiful woman gives you 45 seconds to a minute of eye contact and gives you some good old-fashioned American loving just for a second or two, and then all for $1. It's beautiful.
If you missed that whole analogy, it's available on the podcast page on hornfm.com from yesterday.
There you go. Yeah.
I love it.
That was so I went through a strip club analogy there, and some people
Hey, man.
Hey,
I appreciate
some people can't relate to that.
Yeah.
You can't relate to the strip club analogy. Oh, and I did say that in the strip club analogy, basically, the free agency, that's basically like making it rain. We've all been in a strip club where somebody's making it rain.
Yep.
Hard just made it rain a time or two. He won't admit it.
Hey,
and
man.
it's the worst waste of money. You cannot think of a worse way to waste your money than to go to a gentleman's club and just start making it rain dollar bills. Shouldn't even get all the dollars. Some people start walking up just grabbing dollars.
Especially when you throw it on the ground. I mean, I heard.
Yeah. That's free agency. And that's why the Cowboys, they do not like to make it rain. All right?
Yep.
Lap dances, that's like a trade. You can negotiate. Hey, can I get a 2 for 1?
Yeah.
Hey, get a little bit longer.
I'm going to be here for a while.
You know,
hang
exactly.
out with me,
you know what I mean? Hey, how about
Hang
that?
on.
That's a trade. That's a negotiation. That's pretty good. And then I believe undrafted free agents was, when you're dating a stripper, which I've also done, and you get free lap dances. Best value out there. Can't get better than that.
That is definitely called a bang for your buck.
Hey!
There it is.
All right, there you go. All right, so that's free agency. Just caveat emptor, all right? Let the buyer beware. Don't try to win free agency. That's like making it rain at a strip club. You're going to regret that later, I promise. Unless you're a billionaire. It ain't tricking if you got it. We'll come right back. We got Off the Record on the other side right here on Ball Don't Lie, 104.9 Horn. All right, welcome back to Ball Don't Lie right here on 104.9 The Horn. It is a midweek movie music edition of Ball Don't Lie on 104.9 The Horn. The midweek movie for midweek movie music, Blue Chips. Great movie. If you haven't seen it, I'd recommend you check it out. Make it a priority. Okay, so off the record here, we'll be a little quick because we're up against it and we're off early today, so I want to get in some time next segment to talk and preview more Texas basketball. But quick nugget here on the Aaron Rodgers saga that continues.
Man.
He did go on the Pat McAfee show, and he said that he intends to play for the Jets next season. That is his intention, and did point out that the only thing holding up the trade is the compensation that the Jets will pay and draft capital to the Packers. So I just haven't figured that out. But he says, since Friday, my intention was to play for the New York Jets. It's the compensation that's holding things up.
Wow.
So
it's just this dude, man. I just really wish that he would. I know he's saying I'm saying this, I'm saying that, but what are you truly saying, Aaron?
He said he wants to go to the Jets. He just needs the Jets and the Green Bay Packers to figure it out. Like that, I believe he was trying to be as transparent as Aaron Rodgers can be. Usually he's pretty cryptic anyway, but I think he was trying to be transparent, saying it's now why you won't just say, I want to go to the Jets and play for the Jets. It is my intention. It has been my intention. I have no idea. He's, I don't know why he's talking in circles.
He phrased it weird, but I watched the whole thing.
You saw it?
Yeah, and it was basically him saying, look, he goes, I made the decision to go to the Jets like
a long time ago.
2 or 3 days ago.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so he has been saying, so that Saturday tweet when he said expect something soon, I think that's when he told the Jets he wanted to go there and told the Packers he wanted to go there. And he was expecting a trade to happen much sooner. Apparently the whole list of demands he said was very much overblown. He said there was nothing that I gave them a sheet of paper. They asked me about some people and I gave my recommendations. But Nathaniel Thornhill is also there.
Nathaniel Hackett.
Nathaniel Hackett is also there. So he is a guy that also knows all of those players.
Yeah.
So
and they're BFFs. Him and Aaron Rodgers is really close.
So they probably all like the same guys. They probably hung out in the same circles. So I think it was a dual-edged, both of those guys recommending them.
Yeah. And Allen Lazard has already been signed.
Yeah.
Allen
Lazard's a 4-year deal.
Yeah. So that was basically – but, yeah, he went in third. He's like, yeah, I that's the intention. That's where we're going. He was saying more that he thought when the season ended that he felt that it was probably over and that the Packers didn't tell him they wanted him to go, and then they came back after he got out of the darkness retreat and they were like, yeah, you need to go.
Yeah, Mark Murphy, we played that cut from Mark Murphy, and he was saying basically we're doing everything in our power to basically make this thing work. We want him gone.
I can't find the tweet now, but I read a tweet earlier from one of the guys that's basically said they are not even looking for compensation matching the Russell Wilson or Matt Stafford. They don't want to use that as a trade barrier, and they may not even be looking for a first, much less multiple firsts.
Wow, that's crazy.
So if that's the case, how has this not been done yet?
Yeah, if that's the case, that's stupid. Get as much as you can for him, right? That's the whole point. Is that teams are over.
I think the Green Bay Packers are so over Aaron Rodgers.
You know what? Aaron Rodgers might have screwed up the negotiation because he might have went to the Jets and was like, "Dude, I want to be here and I don't want to be there." And they know if they want me back, like I'm just gonna I'm gonna force them into a conundrum where I may play, but I'm not really invested.
Yeah,
I'm playing, but y'all paying me all this money, but I'm not invested.
He basically said today, like that's done. That's done. So the only other thing would be another team trying to swoop in and get him. That would be.
He's not going to retire though.
That was not because he says he wants to come back.
Play, exactly.
He did his first workout.
He wants that $60 million. He's like, he wants to play. No, he wants that cash.
No, he wants the challenge, guys.
He wants that. He wants that 50 to 60 million. It's hard to pass that up, man. Okay, so he's not retiring. I think he'll retire after that. How much his contract got? What, 1 more year or 2 more years?
I think it has two with an option for a third.
I think it's like 2 more years.
But
so whenever they stop paying him $60 million to play, that's when he'll stop playing.
Right. I mean, like I'm not stopping playing if I got $60 million waiting on me.
You gonna pay me $60 million for what I did last year? Deal.
Exactly.
Hey, man, if they offered me $100,000 right now, I'd be like, go hit me a couple times. I'm gonna be hurt in a minute, but all right.
Yeah, the Jets are desperate. Right now, the Jets, they don't have a backup plan. This is it. They're all in. So he also knows I really do have all the leverage in this situation.
Yeah.
So he's holding that organization hostage pretty much.
Big time.
And I think it'll happen though by the end of this week or by the beginning of this weekend, I should say. All right, we come back. We got one more segment. We'll wrap it up and put it in the oven. We'll talk Texas basketball and talk about their matchup versus Colgate in the first round right here on Ball Don't Lie, 104.9 The Horn. Welcome back to Ball Don't Lie right here on 104.9 The Horn. It is a midweek movie music edition of Ball Don't Lie. We play jams from a soundtrack. My man Patrick takes jams from a certain soundtrack that inspired him, plays those selections for us on midweek movie music, and based on those songs, we are to gather clues and hints that lead us to the featured film of midweek movie music. And today it is Blue Chips, great film, and it's basically inspired because we're in the midst of March Madness, and Blue Chips is all about college basketball. That's what we're talking about right now. Tons of college basketball, specifically the Longhorns, gentlemen, who will be taking on Colgate in the first round. Speaking of, we'll be out at Twin Peaks, the Round Rock location, tomorrow for your official watch party. We're also going to have the pre-game out there as well, starting up at 5:30 for the Texas Colgate matchup. But we'll be out there from 3 o'clock until the end of the show, which obviously we're off early at 6 tomorrow because of Texas basketball. But we'll have the pregame and we'll have Ball Don't Lie. Patrick also is going to be out on the scene. So
PD going to be with us.
Full Monty. The whole group is going to be out there. We're going to have a damn good time. All right. We'll have an even better time if Texas takes care of business. We all assume that they will, and we're not the only ones who are assuming Texas is going to take care of business. As I pointed out, a lot of experts, some of the most respected college basketball minds in the country, are picking the Longhorns to make a run, a deep run to the Final Four. Jay Wright, Seth Davis, Dickie V, Seth Greenberg, Jay Billis, Reese Davis, among many. And first they got to get out of the first round. They got to beat Colgate. Colgate, last 3 seasons, though, man, they've been the one thing that worries me about Colgate, and I think Texas is going to win. Honestly, I think they'll win by double digits. Whether they cover that 13-point number or not, I don't know. I do feel good about that. But I will say this. What worries me about Colgate is they've been trending toward a tournament win. Like, you know what I mean? I don't know if it's going to be this year. It's going to be in the next, it's going to be soon. I just don't know when it's going to be. I don't think it's going to be this year against Texas. But they're 44-4 in conference play in the last 3 seasons. Just pointed out that they're 0-2 in the last 2 years as a 14 seed. They're a 15 seed this year. But those losses they had to Arkansas and Wisconsin. By the way, that Wisconsin game was in Wisconsin. So that was like a road game essentially for them too. They had leads on those teams. And they had actually a lead on Wisconsin with about 10 minutes remaining in that game. They just couldn't hold on because of the talent disparity. It's really hard for them to play 40 minutes. They had a lead on Arkansas as well and ended up losing those games. But, if Texas takes them lightly, which I don't think they will, Colgate can surprise you.
They better not. Let's just put it like that. Texas needs to go out there and handle their business, and this is something that they've been waiting for. They've been ready to get to this point. It's been a long season. They've worked really hard to get to win the championship, to play tough all year, and this is what all those guys came back to celebrate. This is why they're here. They wanted to play in the tournament. They wanted to go for a national championship. Marcus Carr, you went out and got a Sir Jabari Rice. We talked about that when these guys all transferred to the University of Texas. I said Tyrese Hunter, Marcus Carr, and Sir Jabari all have been to the NCAA tournament and have won games. They know what it's about. Guard play. This is where guard play either makes you or break you. But I do have to give a special shout out to my man Dylan Dessou. He played his butt off, and he has been playing his butt off. He finally looks like he's 100% healthy. That is what I'm thinking of. He finally makes sure that he is healthy because he looks like he's playing carefree. He's not playing safe basketball.
Yeah, no, and it's all about, for me, it's that focus and him not getting in foul trouble. If he doesn't, he should be able to eat against Colgate. Like, they don't have a big that's going to be able to step up with his footwork and how he gets around guys. If you're doing that to Kansas, it's going to be a long day for Colgate. But you got to be out and the guard play. If your guards can go ahead and play solid defense, it's just don't allow the fact that you can beat this team to let you lose to this team. That's what it comes down to. You play the way you are, then you know what? You're going to be able to rest at the end of this game because you're going to be up 40 in the last 5 minutes if you play the way you can play.
Yeah,
I don't expect them to be up 40, but I'm saying they could be. They are that much better than this team is.
Yeah.
They just need to play like it because it's basketball, and teams that shoot threes can get back into it in a hurry.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. And to Harge's point, Texas, just based on experience, is considered to be the 7th most experienced team in the NCAA. If you look at the 7 members of their 9-man rotation, essentially are returning to the tournament experience, so they all have tournament experience. And you look at the average age weighted by minutes of players who have played, Texas is the 4th most experienced team returning to the tournament. So they do have experience. There should be nothing about the adversity that you're going to see in the tournament that surprises this experienced veteran team.
Right.
So I'm with you.
Let's put it this way. Timmy Allen, Marcus Carr, Jabari Rice, and Tyrese Hunter all won a game in the tournament last season.
Yep.
That's 4 guards for you right there. All have a tournament win last season.
Who has? I mean, that's got to be rare.
Had to ask 4 guys that can say that?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. The other teams have that much experience, tournament experience. So I feel really good about, like I said, drinking the burnt orange Kool-Aid with Texas. But
sip on it.
Yeah, but like I said, Colgate, look, they're the number 1 shooting team in terms of obviously percentage-wise and three-point percentage. Number 1 3-point shooting team in the country, 40.8 three-point shooting percentage. They were number 2 last year, and they were number 3 the year before that. Like I said, they've been trending. They've been trending in the right direction for a while now. Texas needs to make sure they put the kibosh on that thing because Colgate's going to be confident.
Oh, they're going to be ready to go.
They're ready to be a Cinderella.
Yeah.
Cinderella's a gold-digging skank, and you need to treat her like that. All right, what you got on tap coming up?
We're going to watch a little bit of basketball tonight and, of course, listen to Texas baseball tonight as well, right here on 104.9 The Horn.
Coming up next. Patrick, what you got on tap, brother?
Seinfeld trivia.
Seinfeld trivia. I might drive by that, by the way. I might drive by that.
Where's it at?
Seinfeld trivia, baby. Yeah. I'll
let you know after the show.
All right. Coming up next, you got Texas baseball. Don't go anywhere. Remember, the revolution will not be televised. We're talking about it right here on Ball Don't Lie. We love you guys. Take care of yourselves. But more importantly, take care of each other. Peace.